gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 of your grand finals for N4C, the $100,000 Age of Empires 4 tournament. Spawning in on the south side of the map, we've got Beastyqt playing as the Rus.
And he is opening with 2 scouts, pretty standard, already pretty early. Doc here in the center will get quite some control, obviously finding quite some sheep for himself. Mongolian Heights, as we all know, the map with most sheeps.
Yeah, it's definitely a great map if you're looking to get some of those early sheep in, but let's take a look over on the other side of our map. We'll see who we've got spawning in. In the red, it's going to be Leenock playing on the English.
This is really unfortunate. Look at where he's scouting, and the blue scout was already there.
Yep.
So he will only find very few sheep, plus he will not really get a lot of his own deer, and as we all know, that's what Rus is aiming for.
But he does actually snag away the wolf, so he gets the aggro on the wolf. That's going to be good for him, but obviously you see those sheep there, Nilly, and you just kind of, you get a little bit frustrated. It's tough, isn't it? But now going to be trying to get most of the deer. It looks like he managed to pinch 2 of them, so not terrible. And finds a couple more wolves on his side, but opening up with double scout here, no real surprise up against the Rus.
And did he get the other deer spot? Looks like Beastyqt will get 3, and yeah, indeed that is going in Leenock's favor. Still, pretty good opening for Beastyqt, we have to say.
Yeah, Beastie will be pretty happy with this, stealing away 5 out of the 7 of his enemy's hunt, and then at the same time getting his own hunts behind it. Obviously, also going to be water booming. Everything's going right for Beastie.
Also, we think maybe if we go into the very late game, Rus could be good there as well, especially on a map where guaranteed aggression is not really on the menu. It feels like Beastyqt has a lot of stuff going for himself. Only 130 bounty though. What?
Don't worry.
He didn't get his.
That'll go up.
Deer
That'll go up.
spot.
He's still got 70 up over on that other deer hunt. We saw it over towards the east side of the map. And he's also got all those sheep, remember. He's got so many damn sheep, this guy. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh, my Lord. He's looking like a shepherd right now. There's so many sheep. So one of the things I want to talk about is about what Leenock's English strategy is going to be. Obviously, he's going up to the second age now, probably going to be with the Council Hall. But I'm curious exactly how he is going to look to switch things up, because we've typically seen English do relatively well against the Rus, but more recently, the Rus have just been overwhelming the English quite easily.
Now the contest here for the deer, as you know. Oh, he even shift-clicked all of that through. A bit surprising to me. Tries to go for some pressure, and how many deer does he get?
Looks like he pinches off the first one. There's still a couple of deer in there. You can see now the second scout going to be coming in for Beastyqt. He manages to snipe away one of those deer, so it looks like he's probably going to be taking 6 of them. A couple of wolves in the action as well. It looks like 3-4 wolves in there. Jeez, that's a fair amount of wolves, so Beastie going to be pretty happy with this haul.
Oh, okay. And still 2 snagged away. Now we see Beastyqt's side here. Tries to go for the wolf, and it feels like both players should get roughly 14 deer, maybe 13 to 15 in favor of Beastyqt.
Yeah, I think Beastie might be a little bit up, but we can now see he's walling up the center as well, so playing it pretty smart. It's going to be tough for him, or tough for his opponent Leenock to actually prevent this. And now we see a villager coming out at the same time. Beastyqt got to be trying to get all these walls down. It looks like he's being successful there. So a little bit of a misplay from Leenock, not blocking in that wall or getting his scout nice and safely in there. But longbow already coming out now for Leenock, applying pressure. We're at 4 minutes 30 and this longbow is already out, dishing out the damage.
And the wall behind this one, quite interesting. Now find another kill again, or found another kill against the sheep there. Got another extra 5 gold. So bounty now for level 2, over 250.
Yeah, not too bad. 290 now, and plenty of sheep back towards the town center, I suspect. So he's going to be absolute. Oh my God, look at that sheep.
Plenty of sheep, indeed.
He's got 24 sheep right now. Even if all these fish run out, he's going to be absolutely A-okay when it comes to the food. But now we see that villager going to be going down already. Oh, so close. So close.
Down, though.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way he makes it out of here. Strelbora.
Did I just see a villager move to the top? Is Beastyqt going for a second dock here? It looks like it. No, he goes for the walls first.
Yeah, so going to be walling up towards the north. A pretty smart move here. Obviously, against the English, you want to be careful of that timing, but we see that Leenock is already walling up his own side. This is quite curious because, number one, it's going to stop any sort of attacks coming through, like the good old classic double knights. We've seen that be very successful. But now Beastie has that Lodger attack ship up, going to be able to repel those longbows. It looks like one longbow will go down. Second longbow under fire, but manages to get away. And now he's in a bit of a difficult spot. He's got these longbows, but nothing really to do with them.
Beastyqt still with a 4-worker lead, or that includes fishing ships, obviously. Now some more walls that Leenock didn't want to go for, but still reasonable. And now the longbowman trying to squeeze over to the other side. Beastyqt needs something on land to deal with that, though.
Yeah, he's got to be careful down to the south. Leenock has that villager available, but it's not a lot of health. And now we see that lodger attack ship going to be coming down to secure this point and look to get a triple wall up. Beastyqt are going to be very happy with this. Keep in mind, Leenock behind this, still yet to add in a second town center, not really focusing too much on his economy. He's just been looking to sort of get out those longbows. So it really begs the question, you know, coming into this game, what was his goal? What did he want to achieve? Because at this point in time, Beastyqt, a massive lead.
Absolutely, and this is kind of how we envisioned it, right? We were hoping that Leenock had something special up his sleeves, that he had something prepared. Didn't see it yet. Also, how many snipes did we see against fishing ships? I think not a single one. I think Beastyqt saved all of them.
Yeah, so majority of the fishing ships still alive. Villagers, however, I think he's lost 2 villagers so far to those scouts. And we can see that attack ship falling back. It looks like a 3rd villager going to be going down here as well. So not doing terribly. He's taken out 3 villagers. And obviously, land villagers scale a lot better than villagers. Oh, he's got to be careful not to lose that attack ship. He actually takes out the attack ship, so pretty well played right there. Now villager going to be retreating back as well. Is he going to be able to get this wall up? He's going to be able to get the wall up. Leenock going to be pretty happy with that.
Okay, but still, I think he needs to do more damage, right? The Ruse should have the better economy. Transition to Castle Age should be way smoother. Remember, he still has all the sheep behind as well.
Yeah, but look at this. Leenock's going to be able to push up along the riverbank, and he's able to take out the fishing boats. They've only got a little bit over 100 health here. He actually forces them back in. There was no lodger attack ship out to actually defend this position, and now Leenock looking incredible. Another fishing boat comes out at this point for Beastie, but that's not what he needs at this point. He needs to get more attack ships out, but he can't convert them because Leenock just keeps sniping. This is terrible for Beastyqt.
And he doesn't really have the gold to convert them as well. Look at that. Now it takes quite some damage on the one that he is trying to get into Lodger attack ship, and it goes down.
This is absolutely massive. So Beastyqt making a pretty big mistake there. Sending down the lodger attack ship to that crossing down towards the south, subsequently losing it. He did have fishing boats tailing it, looking to repair it, but they didn't get there in time because the attack ship was too fast for them. And so now it looks like he's prevented from really creating any more fishing boats in the center here. This is a really difficult position for him, Nilly.
Ooh, and that should be some more snipes. I think 2 volleying there with that amount. No needs to go for a 3rd one, but all of a sudden, the economy advantage is not really there. If Beastyqt loses those, he's actually behind in villagers.
This is not good. Look at all of the fishing boats going down. That's a 3rd fishing boat that goes down within the space of 10 seconds. He's down to how many fishing boats have we got for Beastyqt at this point?
Looks like 2 only. Make it 3 maybe. And that's it. Still, Strayborak will find some kills. And those knights with 2 of them on the field, I don't think they will do enough against those
How
archers.
did these bad boys get through, though? There's got to be an opening somewhere that just... Ah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. They must have snuck through down there. But now, only 2 knights, so not a huge amount of knights here. So it looks like Leenock going to be able to hold on, prevent this from coming through. No spears out just yet for him, but manages to do quite a fair bit of damage. And that knight going to be heading away with just a slither of health.
What are the next steps here? Ooh, second town center by Beastyqt.
Smart.
He wants to play the long game.
This is an interesting adaptation. I think it's a smart move from Beastie. He appreciates the fact he's lost on water, at least lost a fair bit of his investment, and now he's got the walls up, he's got a fair bit of safety there. He knows that if he plays for the late game, he's going to be okay.
Let's take a look. Longbowmen, they need to take care of themselves. Don't really want to take the fight against the Lodger attack ship. Always want to stay in that small zone where they can do damage but can't take any.
Yeah, this is a really curious thing. Now, I was talking about this with Beastie before the game because we saw between the show match with Viper and DeMusliM, this exact same matchup. The only difference is they obviously got to choose each other's landmarks. Here you get to choose your own landmark. And it means that in the late game, Beastie's going to be able to make the high armory. Whereas in the previous game, Viper wasn't actually able to do that. And as a consequence, it meant he was missing important upgrades that really gave him a lot of control over his own siege. So as we progress towards this late game, and I suspect this might be quite a long game, you can expect Beastie's going to be in a solid position playing the Rus.
Well, let's see about that. Also, we always think Beastie, one of the best in the world when it comes to late game, played so long games on his stream. Leenock, we feel, fastest player in the world, highest APM, highest efficiency with his APM as well. he can't be falling behind too much when it comes to the late game skill.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And keep in mind, this guy has got stamina out the wazoo. He streams 12 hours a day. He's playing 16 hours a day. He is able to take these late game situations and really do quite well in them. So definitely no slouch. But we do see Abbey of the Trinity coming through for Beastyqt. Pretty decent timing here, considering he's got the second TC.
Let's take a look at relics on the minimap. I can see 2 on the side for Beastyqt, 2 on the side for Leenock, make it 3 on the side for Beastyqt, so we'll have a small advantage there.
Yeah, small advantage. Obviously, playing as the Rus, it's something that you're going to be looking to take control of. But keep in mind, Leenock has managed to wall up his own side of the crossing pretty effectively at this point in time. So only going to be able to secure up those 3 relics and the sacred site. So 400 gold a minute, but not too bad. Not too bad.
Also remember, if we go into the late game, obviously English having the beautiful upgrade that generates gold from all their farms. So if we feel like, okay, Beastyqt, another relic, that's super good for him in the late game, English won't care too much.
Yeah, it's not a big deal for them. Enclosures, the technology that you're referring to, is just such a great technology, meaning all of your farms are able to generate gold, and it's infinite gold as well, so they don't really need to worry. It means once you get to the late game with the English, you put down 30 barracks, 30 stables, and you're making knights and men-at-arms non-stop.
Yeah, that's what Beastyqt even just said, right? He was sitting there on the couch watching the show match from earlier, and he said, yeah, English just plays with 100 farms here.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really interesting way that they fight, but we can see now Leenock going to be going up to the 3rd age as well. So it looks like he's going to be dropping down a King's Palace towards the back of his base. So he'll be pretty happy with that. A nice position back here as well. Keep in mind the King's Palace is a bit weaker than most other landmarks, so you want to keep it away from the front. It does have that half health that the other landmarks do have, but right now we're entering into the 13th minute. Do you think like there's a discernible lead here for either player?
I still think Beastyqt, with the slightly faster uptime, with the stable setup, with the extra town center, and the potential to grab all these relics, should have a small advantage here. Still feels like Longbowman should be good enough to find a reasonable defense, especially because the tower didn't go up. Not really the greatest water control, but I think Beastyqt will be the one controlling this mid game.
I'd love to see out of Leenock in this position. I don't think we will see it, but a fast Imperial, because it allows you to take control of a crossing completely. And once you get to that Imperial Age, as we mentioned, enclosures, such an incredible technology. And I think if there's any civ that can really do it, it's going to be the English in this situation. But the main issue he's going to have, obviously the crossings are going to be under threat. That's going to be a big deal for him. And he's got to try his best to protect those, but keep in mind, Beasty will very easily be able to just transform into a transport ship and then just get himself across those crossings.
It's really important that Leenock always keeps track of the whole river there if he wants to prevent some sneaky night raids. And yeah, those ships just healing up, trying to go to the other angle of the river. Game stabilizes quite a bit.
Yeah, very stable. A bit of a lull at the moment right now, but Leenock behind in the village account, about 12 villages behind. We see that second relic now being picked up for Beastyqt at this point. English typically do fall into a bit of a lull in the castle age around this timing. So it is to be expected, but Leenock will be slowly catching up with regard to the village account and probably look to max out around that 130, 140 mark.
That should be a fishing ship and should be going down quite easily. Should be 3 wallet or even 2 wallet now. And Sacred Site will still be controlled. Leenock, still 12 workers behind. Now knights are coming over. Do you think he can hold with longbowmen only, or will he need to add some crossbow or spearmen himself?
Yeah, I think it's probably important to do that. The main thing is to just track where your enemy's units are. I'd love to take a look from Leenock's perspective and just see whether he's got any line of sight on the opposite side of the river, because it looks like he doesn't. He's got no clue what's going on. So, you know, whether Beasty looks to burn down this wall or whether he looks to get that transport ship across and give him a bit of flexibility, there's always an option. But yeah, I mean, these longbow numbers are beginning to build, and we can actually see a Mangonel in queue for Beastyqt.
Oh, and obviously Mangonel's crazy good against longbowmen unless you micro them pretty intensely. So, meaning that Leenock always needs to be on his toes. Third relic now coming in, Beastyqt. Feels like he's in full control.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. We see he's slowly working towards this wall up towards the north. Longbows can't really come in and do too much because there is that attack ship that's ready to fire, ready to pounce. Leenock's starting to stack up a bit of resources in the bank, but is adding in spears as well as knights of his own. And now going to be looking to wall up before the cavalry from his enemy get in. This is a pretty smart move.
Okay, but only walls up the top. Knights can still go in directly. Going to the top though, so the wall will actually work out, Drongo.
He's got a pretty big brain, this guy. He knows exactly where his enemy is going and how he's going to play. But yeah, preemptive wall's doing a great job there, going to be stopping those units from getting through. And you can see he's actually coming up for the boar, so almost going to be hitting that 500 mark, 10 gold shy of it.
Let's take a look at those relics. Indeed, he's going for relic number 4. Beastyqt is beautifully setting himself up for the long game, as you can see in the overlay. 3 relics in the monastery, 1 on the way.
He killed a wolf as well. He's up to 515.
Wow.
He gets tier 3.
And that's a beautiful setup for the long game.
Yeah.
Your hunting cabins will generate more gold, your farm food income will be better as well. And Beastyqt just making all the right steps. He is here for a long Sunday evening.
He really is, isn't he? Keep in mind, this is a best of 9. There's the potential that this could go 15, 20 hours nearly.
I don't think that long, but yeah, production already was scared. Like, oh, best of 9, this could go to midnight.
Yeah.
7 hours is at least what production is scared of.
Keep in mind, it's Beastyqt. If there is a player that is happy to take it to the late game, it's Beasty. And at the same time, Leenock, he is definitely no slouch when it comes to the late game. So if he, if he gets the opportunity, he'll take it to the late game if he thinks he can win there.
Beastyqt also getting the second sacred site mainly to generate some gold. I don't think he will hold that for too long, but it is annoying. Now breaks pop 100. Leenock still 15 behind.
Yeah, definitely feels like at this point Beasty is in full control. He's got 4 relics out of the 5. He's got the second sacred site now, going to be trickling in that extra gold. At the same time, he's ahead on village account, ahead on population. I don't think there's any real way at this point he can lose, but at the same time, Leenock's window, it's towards the end of the game.
Well, you said that in the late game, English are pretty crazy. We could see a beautiful keep there with lots of range as the Imperial Age landmark. Leenock floating quite some food, maybe. Canceling some of the knights and go in might have been an option, but needs to have something to address those raids first.
Yeah, we see that a couple of knights going to be coming in and dealing with the early knights now of his opponent, those villagers. You can see how quick he was on it as well. Just before that attack warning even goes off, he is on top of it. So very well played. And looks like he might actually trap those knights in up towards the top there. Looks like there's a bit of a space.
Not really.
No space, and they do get cleaned up. Villagers on the gold mine getting taken out as well. I'd love to know whether he's got his textiles upgrade just yet. Click on one of those villagers.
And 50 HP only.
Yeah, so still yet to get that. But spears now coming out. Just some feudal age spears. Going to be able to defend on this position. And Beasty, look at the gold that he's got stacked up right now. It's 2,600 gold.
Huh? Not anymore. Just used his golden gate and bought himself some food. Now some more mangonels in the queue. But still, pretty lethal raid here. Still full control. Leenock with a nice defense. But it just feels like Beastyqt can dictate how the next steps are going to look like in this game.
And that's exactly it, yeah. Beastyqt really gets to dictate how this game goes. We can see Leenock now moving out with a couple spears. These guys still just feudal age, so still yet to get the veteran upgrade on these bad boys. Gets a nice little concave here. Longbows on the back line going to be firing off. We see Beastyqt does have +2 on his ranged armor as well, so going to be taking a lot less damage from those longbows. And now more knights coming out. Night mass really starting to build here nearly.
But is it really what we need if we are thinking about English? Is the night mass something we think, oh god, English, they have a lot of knights, they're super scary?
No, not at all. That is definitely not what you're going to be thinking. Unless they get to, I guess, post-imp, then it can be a little bit concerning. But you can see the setup for Beastyqt. He is really going ham on these mangonels. He's looking to achieve greatness through mangonels.
Already, and high armory now as well. He's setting himself up for the long game.
Yeah, so this is exactly Beastyqt's favorite place to play it from. The Rus late game, as we talked about earlier today, he says, if I get to make the high armory, if I get to have the extra range on my springalds, I'm going to be a very happy camper. And we can see he's throwing away a couple of knights at that point. They were sieging down a farm, but now moving even more in up towards this gold mine and going to be looking to break away even further on the village account. You can see he's up by 27 at the moment, but looking like it's probably going to be increasing even more.
Leenock really with a good reaction, but indeed, I think increasing feels very likely simply because Beastyqt is doing such a good job, always constantly raiding and making life really tough. Leenock, it feels like he's doing all the right steps. The early game just didn't go super well for him.
We saw a third town center there for Beastyqt, so he is really committing to this late game play. Now reaching the Imperial Age, expect him to be getting some of those upgrades like the Springald range upgrade, roller shutter triggers. There's a whole bunch of upgrades, and we now see roller shutter triggers in the queue, also making some streltsy here as well. So he's really determined to just play the late game, and he has done everything that he can to just sort of skate by as little as he needed and get himself up to the Imperial Age.
Oh, it just feels so dominant here. The Roos play, and it feels like all the right steps are being made to set himself up to have an unkillable army in Imperial Age. Mass siege, mass stealthy. I don't really know what English can do against that.
Yeah, it seems quite difficult. If you have a look right now at the resource counts as well, especially the resource per minute, Beastyqt ahead by an absolute mile, sitting at about 4,000 resources a minute, compared over to Leenock, who's barely cracking 200 or 2,000.
Wow. Yeah, obviously lots of idle villagers now due to all the raids, right? Makes it tricky then. And we see more upgrades for siege. We see more stealthy coming out as well. And Beastyqt, he will probably switch away from those units now. Those are the last knights that he's doing, and probably full stealthy, some more knights in the queue, so I'm proven wrong actually.
But you are correct in that he will probably be trending away from the knights, probably be looking to go into either men-at-arms and spears together with Streltsy, using maybe about 20 to 25 of each of those, and then just going for a big siege mass. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 10 Mangonels out from him today, 10 Springolds as well, and there's going to be absolutely nothing that Leenock can do to stop that. Even knights, even fully upgraded knights with biology and all that good stuff, yeah, it's not going to work.
Okay, well, certainly tricky scenario, especially because we said we didn't want to see too much knights, not really where English shines, but maybe being pushed into that direction. While we see more upgrades for Beastyqt, already has 12 range on his Springolds, now will be 13.5, and those Mangonels will instantly shoot after getting the attack command.
Yeah, BC looking so comfortable at this point in time. He's doing everything that he wants to, building up line of sight on the map as well. We now see a wooden fortress coming down on the other side of the river. Obviously that third town center, and now we see him walling up for the late game, so he's preparing just in case any raids are to come through. And look at this, a second and a third layer of walls.
Oh.
He knows how to win these games. He has played this 1,000 times before, and he's in his comfort zone.
He is one of the most walling players on the ladder that we see, at least on the top level, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we've seen so much. And he said he actually changed his play style a bit, that he is trying to play a bit more aggressively, but that doesn't rule out that he's super comfortable.
Yeah, we can see now he's sitting pretty calmly at about 78 beats a minute at the moment, so he's quite happy. But we see Mangonel upgrades coming through here. Still just doing so many raids and being really pesky and annoying here. Slowly keeping Leenock's villager count down, and now about a 40 villager lead, not even including the relics here for Beastyqt. And Windguard Palace coming through for Leenock.
People are starting to like that
Yeah,
one, right? We'll create you an army. Oh, that's an interesting keep. Wants to get a better foothold, and Siege is getting really out of control here. Beastyqt going for his ideal army composition.
Yeah, this is the classic Beastyqt play, and honestly, if there's a reason Siege gets nerfs, it's probably because of Beastyqt, so he can only blame himself in that situation. He just uses it so effectively. Just a handful of bombards, a whole bunch of Mangonels behind, and the Springolds to protect them. At the same time, crawling with these keeps. This is exactly what he wants to do in this situation. But Leenock, don't count him out. At the same time, he's got those trebuchets that are going to be coming through shortly. Keep in mind, Leenock was, in my opinion, he was the one who found the trebuchet tech. We saw some great games that Leenock was playing where he was up against the Rus late game and he utilized the trebuchets to great success. So don't expect him to be just tapping out. But we see plenty of Springolds in queue right now for Beastyqt as well. Also getting that chemistry upgrade, getting another Streltsy. He's really comfortable.
Absolutely. And this is just also the super methodical play, right? But we saw him lose, but against Rus earlier in this tournament, where, oh god, look at those walls. Oh, yo, yo. And gets another board even.
So this is what starts to get scary. You know, MarineLorD said very, very calmly, he said, oh no, this is very easy to beat this play style. All he needs to do is just have 100 horsemen and run them from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and collapse upon the siege. And that's all well and good, but what happens if he walls the siege in? What happens if he puts keeps all over it with boiling oil and slowly pushes towards your base and towards your landmarks and eventually just kills your landmarks?
You can't do anything. You're obviously going to lose. And some landmarks of those are to the front. Look at that. That's starting to see already. So we will see Beastyqt already killing 2 landmarks quite easily here at the front. Wingard Palace was at the front as well, right? Oh yeah, look at that, 3 landmarks.
Yeah, so keep in mind he does have that King's Palace towards the back, so nice and safe up there. If things do get bad, he's going to have that. Oh, and now we actually see Leenock moving around the side here. He's got to be careful. Obviously, those keeps are in great position. They've got that boiling oil, but is Leenock going for a little bit of a counter play right here? We see him with a huge amount of military up towards the north here.
Yeah, wants to make something happen, but look at that. Warrior Monk scouts it, plus the triple wall that we showed earlier. Now deletes all this, but that won't be great news. I think Beastyqt can even be a bit more aggressive towards the center.
He deleted the pillars, he didn't delete the walls. If we head back towards that north, you can see his units just standing idly by. He's made a little bit of a mistake right there.
Traffic jam!
Why aren't you guys going through? And now he realizes, so the pillars are different units to those walls. That's the difference. And now we see a whole bunch of reactive wooden fortresses coming down. And at the same time, Beastie on the front line, I mean, he looks very content with just slowly but steadily pushing down these landmarks.
Let's take a look. Some cavalry is coming in, as you all know. Now cavalry does some extra torch damage, might find a kill. No, bombard! Oh, goes down.
Oh, very, very nice. That's going to slow down this push quite a lot. It's a smart move that he's actually done that. But now he's going to be looking to break through here. You can see those wooden fortresses coming up. He's going to be focusing down these gates at the front. You can see the spears coming in to surround, and it looks like Leenock, unfortunately, not having enough time there. You hate to think that that little mistake, deleting the pillars instead of the walls, may have cost him.
Yeah, otherwise he would have been in, and then if you get like 40 cavalry into the back of your base, Beastyqt might have struggled quite a bit because he didn't have the mobility.
Yeah, it's really hard to play. And now we see another keep going up on the front line. Beastie playing this so methodically.
Yeah.
Like, everything he's doing is just exactly how you want to do it. And on a map like this, it just makes so much sense. It's very linear in the way that it's played. Obviously, you can see Leenock trying to come up towards the north here, try and start a bit of a fight. But at the same time, I mean, look at this. It's just, he's working slowly but steadily on this base.
Oh, that's just so beautiful. And indeed, yeah, Methodical is the way to go and the way to describe it. Those knights won't really do too much, have to disengage. Streltsy behind this one, and it just feels like Leenock has to force a fight through the center, but under all those keeps, can't be pretty.
Yeah, and we can see the mangonels beginning to move out, but keep in mind, they're right next to walls. They can just fall back. Beastie there, moving back a little bit in his chair. I'd love to see a wall, or a hole in the wall down here broken through so he could at least come from behind, because you can see all the siege right now, and even if he runs towards that, he's going to be able to fall back, but now not really paying attention. Beastyqt got to be careful. You can see all those mangonels. He's not paying attention. Beastyqt, wake up, falling asleep at the keyboard right now. All the mangonels going to go down. First one goes down. Second one going to be lined up as well. Third one scrambling towards that gate. Trying it's the classic meme. Let me in! Let me in! Manages to get 2 of them out. Not terrible.
Yeah, also some more damage. Now this is the moment where Leenock should put his traps to work, try to get those keeps down, but doesn't really have the numbers, as we can see on the field. Only 3 traps for Beastyqt and only 1 for Leenock.
Yeah, this is a really tough position for Leenock. In this position, ideally, he'd want to be sitting on about 4 or 5 trebs because he needs to prevent this push from coming. The trebs can actually be used to snipe away the bombards as well. Now we see Leenock down towards the south. Going to be trying again. We'll check from Beastie's perspective, see whether he spots this and whether he looks to potentially defend on this side. Not a lot of villagers down in this position, so Leenock got to be careful, but at the same time, Beastie can just go for the throat.
Look at the resources of Beastyqt. 5k food, 5k gold. He can easily make a tech switch happen if he wanted to. He could easily go for, let's say, 35. No, that can't be right. 80. I shouldn't do math on stream, right?
I don't even know what you're mathing right now. 80 houses. Yeah, if he wanted to do 80 houses, he definitely could, Nilly.
Can he? 50 times 80?
He'd probably just mark a trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he could do a lot. But we saw a nice little grin coming in there from Beastie as well. I think when he spotted that raid down towards the south, he was like, nice try. And then he did just roost things. And now going to be coming in from behind with the Streltsy as well as the spears. And look at these walls just coming up. So methodical with this play. Such a smart move.
Ooh. Okay, let's take the next look. Here, town center might go down, and then we are down to only 1 single landmark. And we already mentioned earlier that that one only has 2,500 HP. So Leenock, he needs to be on his toes. He needs to clear up this siege in the center. Yeah,
but it's just so difficult to do. It looks like there might have been a bit of a gap in the wall. I don't think he was prepared for that, but huge amount of units still back here, ready to fight, prepared to fight to the death up against those cavalry units. But third landmark going to be coming down here. Beastyqt playing very slowly, very methodically, and slowly pushing towards that. Only a single landmark remains. And if he wanted to, he could go for a snipe very easily.
Ooh, tricky moves here for sure. Town center still protecting villagers. If they wanted to go in, which is not really happening. Oh, that's a lot of siege. Another keep forward and more wooden fortresses. Look at how methodical Beastyqt is slowly but surely leapfrogging forward. Remember, behind this he has 5 relics and a sacred site.
All the production back here. Let's take a look back over towards Leenock's base, because right now Beastyqt chasing him away from this position, and you can see the next keep goes up right on top of those 3 landmarks. He says good luck to you.
We're 2.5k HP away from
really
Beastyqt W.
Yep.
3 landmarks down. The last one is in the back, and Beastyqt getting more upgrades, gets more sprinkler emplacements there as well. Does he not know that the King's Palace is there at the top? We are in the POV. Still no vision, and...
Oh, he's looking. You can see that Trebuchet moving forward. Bit of a scouting Trebuchet. Will stay online with that Trebuchet. Does unfold it, does spot it. Now going to be focusing down. Good game, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well,
we just need one more volley, and Beastyqt might take game number 1, and Leenock didn't really expect it.
Yeah, Leenock's still sitting there. You can see him microing out.
Look at Beastyqt, the game's not over!
The game's over. Leenock did not expect that. Leenock barely paying attention there. You saw the villagers move at the last second, but Beastie was already sipping the chocolate milk.
Wow.
He was, yeah. Look at Beastie. He's sitting there. He's like, Leenock, I expected so much more from you. I expected so much more from you, Leenock. Very well played there by Beastie. So methodical. Not a single mistake made the entire game. I mean, with the exception of those fishing boats, but I'm happy to forgive that.
Oh man, that was a power move, right? Already starting to zip. Game was still going on. He knew like, oh, you are not even watching. My traps will finish the job, and he was stretching. And yeah, only one step away to actually go behind him.
Yeah. It's such a difficult matchup to play. You know, 2 weeks ago, you would have said, oh, yeah, English quite good at preventing that early boom. But we saw Beastie just do so well, walling up, grabbing the relics, taking the sacred sites, 3rd town center as well. He was never falling behind on the economy. And then he went into the late game with just so much siege. It's just, I think the way that he plays it, it's so difficult to play against. I've got no idea. I really have no idea. It's I'd love to hear what the Brains Trust has got. Obviously, we've got plenty of pros on site here.
I think they are mainly saying Rus is the best civilization, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
We have King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Game number 2, the home map of Leenock, and we have seen arguably the best game of the tournament yesterday on King of the Hill.
We have. So will we see potentially the Mongols coming out again here for Leenock? He's obviously got them available, not playing them in the first game. You can see him down there reaching. What does he pull up? It looks like it's going to be a water bottle. Very interesting. So not going for the chocolate milk. Could be a
Maybe
fatal
could have
error.
gone for the chocolate milk.
Yeah, could have. It's a fatal error in my books. Very healthy for Leenock, but
so you see Mongolian Heights there at the left-hand side, and ooh, it will be the same matchup. It's going to be Leenock with Mongols, Beastyqt with French. We have seen an incredible game with that matchup yesterday. In my books, Mongols slightly stronger.
Yep.
But French can certainly contest it, especially if they get a keep up in the center.
Yeah, I think that's really it. It's about getting that keep up in the center, making sure that the keep stays alive, and that you're able to survive until maybe late castle. I think that's really the important point. MarineLorD obviously struggled yesterday. He went up against so many of those springled outposts. They're just very difficult to deal with. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe 2 or even 4 trebuchets come out from Beastyqt, just so he can focus those down one by one by one.
Well, that's obviously like already late castle age thinking, right? We have to go through a lot of steps before that. Still, King of the Hill, we think about one sacred site in the center. We think about all the gold and stone in the center. But one of the major things is that we only have those 2 tiny wood lines. And if Mongols goes tower rush, if Mongols get some aggression on those, it actually gets tricky for French to get wood.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And typically, when it comes to these map seeds, obviously, we make sure that we get the best possible seeds here so that it's fair for both players. Both players have got relatively easy to reach wood lines. But even with doing that, it can be difficult on a map like this to have a safe wood line.
Yeah, and also like fair map doesn't mean you have a safe wood line, right? Fair map is more like both have one forward or both have one defensive or one forward, one back.
Yep.
And then obviously it's a bit of a gamble. Do I want to hope that both of them have an aggressive seed? Then we want to have an aggressive civilization. If you think, okay, all the wood is back, then you can maybe go for a more slower civilization.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think the big thing in this game is definitely going to be the early aggression coming out from Leenock and whether he can actually make something stick. So we'll hopefully see how he looks to play it out. Obviously, he's down 1-0 at this point in time. It's a best of 9, so we're early here in the day. Still quite a bit to go, but our first game's gone to Imperial. Does the second one go to Imperial? That is the question. I suspect it might.
I would bet against it. I'm thinking of the Hill, one of the aggressive civilization or aggressive maps, and tough to wall, lots of aggression flying in. And as we can see, most played civilization by Beastyqt is French. He will play them now. And on the other side, Leenock had the same matchup yesterday, did get the W, but Beastyqt saw that game and might have analyzed something that he can do better than MarineLorD yesterday.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how he plays it. You can see that interestingly, Leenock also plays Mongols quite a bit. It's one of his most played civilizations. So typically you don't think of him as too much of a Mongol lamer. But I guess we can talk about that a little bit later, because game number 2 of N4C, your grand final, is beginning right now. Keep in mind, this is a best of 9. So players looking to get to that all-important 5 points. Beastyqt spawns in on the left side of your map in the color blue, playing as the French.
And he will face Leenock in the red trunks. Scouting with his Khan, he is playing Mongols. The big question is, how is he going to approach this early OVO? Kind of indicating that an early pasture should be paying off quite nicely.
Yeah, especially considering how close it is to that town center as well. I think he'd be very happy to go early pastures here. No chance of those sheep getting picked up. When it comes to the gold mine's not the best spawn, but you can't win them all, can you?
Indeed. Well, we have 1 gold at the bottom. As we can see, Beastyqt, both gold in the back. The tiny wood lines, pretty reasonable, more defensively. And yeah, that's obviously a pretty nice wood line there.
Yeah.
And we see the early barracks.
Yeah, so going to be an early barracks play here from Leenock. With regard to the wood lines for Beastie, I think he's going to be pretty happy with this. A lot of these wood lines look very safe, and typically you can come up towards the pockets and wall yourself in. So we could see him look to do that. Yeah, both on both sides of the town center, that's the really big thing. He's got his own close one, and then he's got wood lines pretty much everywhere. So he'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, needs to expand towards them, though. Maybe with lots of aggression, that might be a bit tricky. Now the double spearman production on the way, villagers being sent forward. And we will probably see the tower into that gold woodline area. And then it gets tricky, right? We said both gold, nice and defensive. But if we see a tower, actually don't want to have them split.
Yeah, it depends on how much he wants to invest here. Obviously, we'll take a look now on Beastie's perspective. He should be spotting for this villager coming out. You can see the scout going to be coming back. It might actually miss it here as it looks to loop around the top here. So he might not be aware, but I guess he does spot the barracks on the Uvu, so he knows it's coming. And the difficult thing for him is going to be knowing where it comes. Obviously, the gold mine is a great spot. The tree line, you can almost get a 2-for-1 in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that villager do that. But now Mongol Khan going to be coming out. Let's see if he focuses down some sheep. Indeed, he is going to be looking to take down those sheep. So very, very annoying.
Oh, only man without honor would ever snipe those sheep down here. Really shady move by Leenock. And yeah, Drongo is looking at me being really mad because that's what I did to him in the show match earlier. By the way, I won that 1-2-0.
I don't want to talk about it. But speaking of talking, look at this. Leenock now continuing to move in. Scout going to be getting onto that villager. He's going to be careful not to lose it, but looks like the sheep is going to be going down. So losing, I think, was it 2 sheep in total? Might have been 3.
I think so as well. Maybe if we go professional scout, we might get to those a bit later. And now the big question, first tower, really aggressive. Deleted the mining camp, so he will give up that area, deleted it, so that if it gets burned down later on, the Mongol player won't get the extra 25 food and extra 25 gold.
Yeah, definitely a smart move there. One of the things we've actually seen top-level players for the Mongols, what they actually do, they get their Khan in there nice and early. Just tap it once or twice. That way, if it does get deleted, you still get the bonus for it. So, bit of a mistake there from Leenock, not running the Khan in straight away to guarantee that that does stay up. But
Spearman trying to defend the villager there. Why is he not splitting those 2 spearmen? Just send 1 forward to 1 scout. Beastyqt avoiding all hits. Good job there. But that tower is going to go up, and that's going to be tricky.
yeah, some decent wood gathering right here. He's going to be able to guarantee that he gets that really important archery range that's going to enable him to move into archers and to prevent any further push coming through. But now we see that outpost going to go up here. Not a lot of line of sight down towards this this wood line. And
I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, what's going on here? He needs to be hitting these villages. I guess he doesn't have arrow slits yet, so it's going to take some time before he can get that upgrade.
And the Khan also is going home because he didn't have enough sheep at home. Didn't go for the pasture, so felt like, okay, I need to drop off the sheep. And those towers, well, they will be a bit slower. And Beastyqt will move away. The big question, though, on towards what wood will he move? Archer range first.
Look at all of the villagers building the archery range. How many villagers have we got there dropping that down? I don't think I've ever seen 9 villagers build a military production building this early in the game, but he's got plenty of resources in the bank and going to be able to get out those archers quick smart. So 2 outposts go down, both on the wood line and the gold mine. Probably going to be looking to invest into his arrow slits on both of those. Where does he go from there? What does he do from there?
Actually, a bit curious. That tower will go up, right? I think even archers are quite questionable here, and that's going to be pushed away. Leenock, well, looking at his resources, he needs to advance to feudal age first, and then he has such a compact map. I think, especially with the defensive gold, something in the fast castle direction is something I wouldn't mind for a Mongol player.
Yeah, I think that can be a smart move, but we can see Beastyqt, instead of going for the standard sort of scouts that you would do, actually going to be going into a knight as well as archers. So typically you'd see scouts out here with a transition into professional scouts, but now it's going to be, yeah, interestingly, a knight. So we'll check in on him. We'll make sure we keep an eye on exactly what he's producing, but we've got a stable back home for Leenock now. So he's looking to play H2 a little bit smarter and probably move in towards that spearman and horseman mix.
Yeah, and he knows how open Beastyqt's map is, right? He knows, okay, I pushed you away, you won't get to gold, so you will have to play along feudal age. So actually that's pretty damn smart. I think I would have cut the wrong corners there.
Yeah, actually, it's a really good point. The second gold is also in between. Wow, he's coming out to the middle. Look at this. So, yeah, that second gold, look behind the base of Beastyqt right now. There's a second gold that's actually cut off by these outposts. So not a very fortunate spawn there for Beastie, but he's going to be moving into the middle. And look at this, the Khan spots it out straight away. He is 100% knowing about this or aware of this, and that's where he can draw his attention.
And now another tower there in that direction would have been nice. Leenock, not a lot of food in the bank. As you can see, food income very minimal. Not really sure what just happened there. Was he out of sheep?
Yeah, he might have been. We can see he's dropped down a couple pastures. Could have been a bit of an emergency, but now coming down onto the gold line. This is not good for Leenock. First villager somehow manages to stay alive with just a little bit of health. Going to get picked off eventually, I suspect. But it looks like 2 villagers probably going to be going down here. So very smart moves there from Beastyqt.
Oh, that is so nice. And Leenock, I think a defensive tower there might have been something. Maybe he thought, okay, I pushed you away from the gold so early that he couldn't really go for any knights. But if he maybe checked the gold mine, he could have seen, okay, you actually mined 200 gold out of it to advance to the feudal age and to afford another knight. Maybe a tower could have been better there.
This is a pretty smart move from Beastyqt that we're seeing right now. So typically up against this sort of tower opening, we've seen players like TheMista go for a handful of archers, so normally about 5 or 6, and then you'd see them go for about 6 or 7 scouts. It depends, and it's quite a bit they invest. And keeps him in the second age for a little bit longer. But we see him here just almost ignoring it. He's just gone for 2 archers, enough to repel the villager, prevent it from putting up any more towers. Just gone a couple more scouts just to keep line of sight. But other than that, he's ignoring it. He's just playing pretty standard. Expands out to the center, keeps his gold mine afloat, and kind of looking like he might even think about going up to the 3rd age.
Oh, more than that, right? 800 food, lots of villagers on gold. He can easily click up in 2 minutes towards the castle age. Pretty sick. Oh, actually squeezes in another knight. So feudal age instead. That surprises me a bit.
Yeah, it surprises me as well. Maybe he sees how much Leenock is pumping out right now, and he realizes that he's got to be careful. We can see another archer coming out as well. He's also getting arrow slits on that outpost and dropping a second outpost down. He knows that this could be a real sticking point here.
Well, he knows how far on the open his gold is, right? Now gets wheelbarrow, so wants to play the long feudal age here for sure. Knight could obviously benefit from chivalry. Second tower being placed, and then I think after this one goes up, some counterattacks should be on the menu.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty smart move. But definitely props to Beastie for opening up with a knight in this matchup. Getting onto that gold mine, doing so much damage, taking out the 2 villagers really did a lot of work. And now we're seeing a blacksmith coming down. So he's really thinking about sticking in feudal here.
Well, +1 attack obviously for free. Could get some upgrades for his archers. +1 attack there, really good against the spearmen. Just sniping them so quickly after that. I think I would have liked to see some walls at the left-hand side. Just preventing some raids, but maybe felt okay, double tower there, not a lot of villagers there. He doesn't really need it.
Yeah, more villagers now coming out towards that gold mine as well. We see him actually taking out these carcasses. He's going for professional scouts, or he's just putting a mill down. Oh, this is quite smart. So he pushes the deer out towards that where he wants to place down the mill, kills them, and then puts the mill down after. Such a smart move.
And he will have the perfect positioning there, in between 4 carcasses, the 5th one pretty close as well. So that's a more efficient mill than average.
Yeah, definitely. But now we see a bit of a counterattack coming towards the north of Beastie's base. He's got to be careful. This Khan able to push these units through a little bit faster. He does spot it from coming out, coming a little bit behind here. So Leenock definitely looking to try and do a bit of a backdoor.
Let's take a look how much that's going to be achieved. Beastyqt should have all his army there, but he only has 10 military on the field, and some of them scouts are not the craziest thing ever. This still looks like an army that could find quite some damage, but not against double tower, obviously.
Yeah, this is a pretty smart move here. I like the way that he's playing, and now you see those horsemen beginning to run in towards the archers. They're going to be falling back towards those outposts. Double outpost here, very strong. Going to be firing off towards the horsemen. Horsemen still yet to get that +1 ranged defense upgrade, so going to take some time, but he is going to be able to take down this mill. But keep in mind, it's a French mill. It's 25 wood. It's not a big deal.
Ah, but 25 food, 25 gold towards Leenock here, being the Mongol player, so that's pretty sweet for him. Now some walls at the bottom, and some raid into the berries without an erection. The villager could die, but Beastyqt on his toes.
Without a what?
Without what?
I don't know. I just thought I heard something there. I just got to make sure that we got TOS to be mindful of. But he's actually spotted out now the villagers down to the south. You can see what's happening in chat. They'll explain it for you. But now it looks like these villagers going to be falling back. You can see just how much damage is getting done here. He's doing a pretty decent job.
Not sure what I said there. What did I say? It wasn't unintentional. Maybe I had a Freudian slip there in some way.
A little bit of a Freudian slip. What do you do to a fence? Like how do you put a fence up? What's it called when you put the fence up? Do you know?
Fencing?
No, you erect the fence.
Okay.
Yeah, so you said a word that would be similar to that. That's all right. Don't worry. We'll talk about it after, Nilly. Don't worry. I'll get you.
Okay.
But, I mean, at this point, Beastyqt got to be aging up, so going up probably with the guild hall. Indeed, it is the guild hall. He's lost a few villagers, but at the same time, he is playing as the French. So typically going to be having a few more villagers out on the field. And he's also taken villagers off Leenock as well, which means that Leenock's going to be down a fair amount. But the Khan finally going down. Good. Good. That's what I say, Nilly. That's what I say.
Well, if you are a Beastyqt fan, then for sure. If you hate Mongols, then for sure. If you are cheering for Leenock, not so much. But I think the Khan might spawn maybe a minute after Leenock is reaching cast rate, so should still be somewhat in time. Now we see the step redoubt, no surprise there. More pastures being dropped, no surprise there. And then most likely step redoubt going next to the gold. Still would like to see 1-2 towers for Leenock, because that gold feels really exposed here at the top.
I'd love to take a look at the sacred site and see exactly where castles or keeps are going to be placed, because you can see that there's quite a few interesting. Speaking of keeps, he immediately puts that down on the stone mine, so it's probably going to be Keep Mania in the middle here. Both players obviously aware that there's only one sacred site. We see a bit of a raid coming up towards the north here. Spears getting in on the action as well. Looking like they're going to be out-microed in this position. Horseman going to be trying to stab it to death. Manages to get the kill as well. Both players reaching the third age now.
Leenock 7 spearmen on the field, not really at the right position, and that's why I wanted to see some defensive towers. Not really here. Horsemen are dying, but still found a villager kill. Can't be too unhappy with that. Beastyqt 6 villager lead.
Yeah, he's in a pretty decent spot at this point, but at the same time, I think that Leenock's still heading into the mid-game at a pretty decent spot. Hasn't lost a huge amount of villagers, obviously, only down 6, and you're always going to be behind when it comes to the French or playing up against the French. But I suspect Leenock probably going to be looking to make a move towards the center, maybe look to get a couple of outposts down like he did in the game against MarineLorD.
This is the phase that gets really tricky. It's not easy to get the full scouting of your opponent, and you have to still commit on an army composition. And if you go for Lancers, it doesn't feel like the greatest choice against French.
Yeah, I agree with you. French, typically seem to be very happy just to drop in a whole lot of spears. Obviously, when they've got the keeps up as well, it's easy for them to wall. This civilization really makes it very attractive for the enemy, or to counter the enemy. So we see Beasty now moving towards stone. I'd love to take a look at his guild hall, see what he's got that set on. Typically, you see players on food at this point, but we do see it's going to be gold for him. So not going to be looking towards stone, but more outposts coming up in the middle here. So I would expect that we start to see a fair few keeps getting put down around this central sacred site.
Yeah, makes lots of sense, right? You can produce close or faster, or cheaper actually, close to a keep. Plus you get the beautiful control of the gold, of the stone, of that sacred site, and that gives you a nice winning condition.
Villagers going down on the gold mine. Just a couple, though. Not too much to worry about. We begin to see those lancers coming out, like you mentioned. Spears in production. Also the lancers. And Leenock now looking to come online. He's 10 villagers behind, but keep in mind, he's got that Uvu. He's got that stone. He's got that double production. And now we see the very first outpost towards that central sacred site going down for Leenock. This is it.
Not that close though, right? And I think if Beastyqt is fully focusing, he could get the keep up earlier. Goes from the bottom side though, so won't really contest that first tower. Actually, he's moving quite far away. I thought he would be building the keep now.
Yeah, here he goes. So going to be getting the first keep down on the sacred site. Interestingly, a little bit of a hill. We can see a monk coming out here. Going to get picked off if it's not careful. You can see the archers and crossbows, or arbaletrier, managing to try and defend there, but not having a lot of luck. One of the things I'd like to take a look at is just the angle, or if we could get a bit of a zoom in on that keep and have a look at the landscape of this, because keep in mind, there's going to be springalds that are coming in, and they've got that little bit of a bug with regard to how they have vision. So I'd love to get a better eye of exactly how that landscape plays out over the sacred site.
It's obviously tricky. Ooh,
yeah, there you go. So you can see that Beastyqt is really going to be fighting uphill against this sacred site, but he is quite happy in that he's defensive down in that position towards the south, but not going to have line of sight coming up the hill, whereas Leenock coming down the hill, he's going to have that line of sight for his trebuchet, he's going to have it for his springalds as well, and obviously making outposts up the top as well means plenty of line of sight.
Indeed, but for now, no siege out, so something for the future, and something that Beastyqt obviously will care about quite a bit. Monk denied for now, but Leenock, he can't contest it for too long, right? Every single time he moves in, the monk will just jump into the keep again, and units will take some damage.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's got to catch Beasty sleeping. And speaking of catching Beasty sleeping, he manages to find a couple village kills down towards this eastern or western position, rather. Few villagers going to be going down, and Knight getting in on the action, trying its best to stop any deaths, but unfortunately, very few vills go down there for Beastyqt.
Still, 11 villager advantage. Now the Lancers are coming in. Should find 2 more villagers there. Actually, not too fortunate. Oh, but this raid is even bigger.
Oh my gosh, it's like watching a French mirror at this point in time. So many villagers going to be going down. Leenock on 43, Beastyqt on 55. But definitely seems like Leenock is harvesting. He's focusing on he's channeling his inner MarineLorD right now. There is so many raids coming in all over this map against Beastyqt. You can see him holding on, but arbaletrier in a good spot here. Got a great meat shield in front. Just those archers going to be trying to tank it up, and looks like they are going to be taken out pretty well.
Yeah, nice defense there for sure. Sacred Site now getting controlled again. We see the Springald emplacement for Leenock. Tries to contest this, but we also need to see some traps to really go for it. Lancers can't find the kill. And I think Beastyqt will put it. Second keep there pretty soon. And those are the spearmen from the 3-minute tower rush. They went into the tower to raid now.
Sacred Site, we take a look towards the middle. He does actually manage to get that Springald emplacement up, kills the monk before it gets captured. This is really, really big for Leenock. If he didn't do that, that Sacred Site would have been ticking, and it would have given Beasty that win condition that he could have enabled to have throughout the game. But now that Springald on that outpost gets up, and it means that there's nothing he can do to try and put a monk on that Sacred Site, because if he does, it's just going to get one shot.
Indeed, that's the case, and maybe some traps could be the next step for Beastyqt, but we still don't see any siege on the field, only now the siege workshop. This one is still pretty even, and both players aware of the winning condition, both players aware of the importance of the Sacred Site, but neither one guaranteed to really control it.
Yeah, now we see more raids heading into the base of Leenock. You see a couple of knights down towards that position. Leenock sitting idly by, but does have that, he's got that monastery up, or the probably going to be looking to get a Shaman out there shortly and maybe to contest that Sacred Site. It's going to be so hard with a big keep sitting in the middle of it, though.
Yeah, indeed. I don't really think that's an option. I think we need to see traps first, then maybe some Springles after this one. It feels like raids might be deciding this game, and then Beastyqt with the potential to wall the whole map, just in a better setup.
And once again, we see another Monk lying with its face on the ground, getting taken out by one of those Springled outposts. And you can see just how much work is happening behind this Siege Workshop going to be going down. So not even looking to go into improved Siege engineering just yet. Might also be getting the upgrades as well, but looking pretty decent for Leenock at this point in time. Still behind on the villager count, about 11. But there's a lot going for him. He's got the Steppered out. He's got the pastures that are pumping out sheep, but obviously Beastyqt also has access to those relics. You can see him bringing in his second one now, and also has that guild hall. Are we able to take a look at that guild hall? Maybe do a little bit of a click. It's on gold, 140, so he's cashed out recently.
Okay, has 700 in the bank, so you can see that he is looking forward to using it. We still have enough stone pretty soon, and another raid here to go. That's the story we have seen like a third time in a row now. Knights are here to find some kills and getting out of there without a single loss.
Yeah, really, really nicely done there by Beastyqt. And now another keep going to be going down in the center, but a little bit further north. And look at Beastyqt already with the Trebuchet. He knows exactly how Leenock plays this matchup. He's done all the thinking that he needs to, and he's confident he's come up with a strategy to counterplay against Leenock. And he wants to take this game. He wants to move the set towards a 2-0 lead for himself.
Population incredibly close here, and both players feeling the pressure, right? One player each having one trap, trying to kill those keep, trying to kill those outposts. Not going to be too easy though. Pretty easy repairs here, at least on Beastyqt's side.
Yeah, at this point in time, Leenock is in a difficult position. This Sacred Site, it's not held by anybody, but at the same time, Beastyqt is slowly moving towards that. Also going to be dropping down a second town center, ensuring that throughout the late game, he's able to keep up with his enemy in case Leenock goes for a sneaky second town center. But Beastyqt up about 17 villages at this point in time, and it's going to really start to grow.
And the most important outpost went down. The one closest to it. The one that was killing the monks. Oh, but misstep there, a bit too far to the right-hand side, in my opinion, and loses another monk. What? That's like the third one, the fourth one there?
Yeah, it's quite a lot of monks that have gone down. Unfortunately, yeah, not the most sacred of sites. Many of those monks have been killed. But, I mean, at this point in time, BC's looking very solid. I don't see how he's really going to lose this game. Typically, in this position, Leenock would have needed to have done a little bit more damage in the early game, and at the same time, look to try and hold the Sacred Site. At this point in the game against MarineLorD, he'd already held the Sacred Site for about 6 or 7 minutes and was now forcing MarineLorD to come and attack him. He didn't have the keep up on the middle of the Sacred Site, but Beasty's got 2. He's also got a Trebuchet out already, and he's preventing the addition of more and more outposts with those Springled emplacements. And now we see stone walls coming up at the back here, looking to really defend his base.
Could be that villager though, could be some dead army. They alone wouldn't fight too well. I think you can walk through this. And yes, you could, but Leenock doesn't want to commit, wants to focus on the center. Military lead on his side, economy lead quite significantly on Beastyqt's side.
And Khan just being annoying in the wood line, something I'm very familiar with that. But it looks like the outpost is going to be going down here. Beastyqt are going to be pushing into this Sacred Site, and it's going to be quite open for him. But at the same time, bit of a raid back towards Leenock's wood line. Have a look at that. Villagers doing their best to get out of there. They've got the Yam network buffing them up, so going to be taking minimal losses here. But now you can see a couple of spears getting in on the action too.
Not really sending them far enough. Tried to run to the top, but needs to send them into the town center. Now more spearmen are coming over for the defense. Even drops off the resources. He didn't even send them into the town center. Quite a surprise here for me. And Beastyqt, it just feels like he's cementing his position in the center.
But just as you say that, we see the first of the 2 keeps going down. Leenock,
second, right?
Yeah.
2 down already.
2 down already?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look.
1. That's 2. Where's the second one?
Was that the first one? Okay. My bad.
All right. Traction Trebuchet starting to build up. He's got 3 Traction Trebuchets out now, compared to only the 1 Trebuchet of his enemy, but the Knight's running in. Now, keep in mind, there's spears here looking to protect, but at the same time, he doesn't care too much about those. We see the forces now beginning to move in as well. He needs to get these Trebuchets out of here. A lot of defensive units. You can see the Yam network buffing up those units from down the hill, and at the same time, Beastyqt going to be sieging down this Blacksmith on the front line. Not a particularly high-value target as the Trebuchets unfold and actually manage to take out one of the cavalry cavalry units there. All the spears going to be coming around. Beastyqt's going to wake up. He fell asleep at the keyboard once again. Manages to get away from those army units. But I tell you what, Leenock's looking pretty scary. That's a lot of units.
Yeah, but it's 45 spearmen. Aussie Drongo _ in between. Is that really what we want to see? I think we need to see more siege.
Okay, well, just hear me out, okay? What units does Beastyqt have right now? He's got 4 Springalds, which get counted by spearmen. Okay. He's got 1 Trebuchet, which gets counted by spearmen. Okay. He's got 19 Arbaletria, which do absolutely terribly against spearmen. Okay. And 7 Knights, which also get counted by spearmen. And he's also got 3 Monks. Okay. Which, when they're not holding a relic, get counted by spearmen. So I feel like he's actually in a pretty decent position despite having a almost 100% spearman army.
But what are they going to achieve? Okay, if they break through the wall here, I can absolutely see a raid happening. Beastyqt has a TC behind this one though, so can save 10 villagers quite easily. Springalds for the defense. It just feels like Beastyqt should add some more archers. And I still believe that Leenock has a good army composition now, but he can't really push the center. I think we need to see either some Springalds or Mangonels himself.
Yeah, I agree. I think in Beastie's position, we do see a Mangonel coming out. Good change. He was going for greased axles. Definitely doesn't need to grease his axles at this point. Probably needs to focus a bit more on his rocks. Get those Mangonels out. As you know, Mangonel doesn't need a counterweight, so it's one of the best siege units in the game. Much better than that dirty Trebuchet. But we see a 4th relic now being picked up for Beastie.
And still has the sacred site in the center. Now ticking in 9 minutes 30 seconds to go. If Leenock cannot contest the center, that means Beastyqt takes the 2-0 lead. Now takes the fight. You said the double tier aren't great, but if you micro them perfectly, Spearman can't really chase down either. Yeah,
that's a really good point. Keep in mind, he does have the access to the YAM network, but hasn't brought forward those deer stones, hasn't extended out towards his position. And now Beastyqt coming forward, doing the classic Beastyqt move and just dropping down a few walls. He wants to control the narrative, and it's a smart move because by taking control of this area, it's going to prevent these little side raids that come through, and he has to react to them. Trebuchets now, look at this. He's up to 4 counterweight or 4 traction Trebuchets.
We need more Mangonels. We absolutely need more Mangonels here for Leenock. He needs to put something into the center. Doesn't have the greatest wood income though, so I don't see him going for it too much. Now goes for another trap. Will go up to 5. Good against all those key, but still he's getting raided over and over again. That's simply what keeps Beastyqt so far ahead in the villagers. Yeah, this is really tough to deal with, and we see him getting hit in multiple places. It looks like Spear's going to be coming out trying to deal with it. A couple of Spears turning around, and I say a couple, but realistically it was like 60 spears eating up 1 cavalry unit there. So the knight struggling a little bit, but Springled outpost in the back of the base going to be helping out a huge amount here. These stone walls going up and forcing Leenock to fight him man to man. Beastyqt in the last game had 5 relics. In this game he has 4 again. Could maybe think about collecting the one at the right hand side. He certainly scouted that one. So even if he loses the sacred site, he's in a pretty solid spot, but it just feels like he's getting so much done for himself to maybe even hold it.
Did you see that Trebuchet rocket came in, hit the Uvu, and then bounced off like a basketball ring? Like the same way the basketball bounces off the basketball ring, it did that exact same thing, but look at those knights. They just got absolutely rampaged, and has so many of these spearmen out right now. He's got to be careful, though. When these spearmen are all tightly together like this, he's asking to be hit with a Mangonel, and there are 3 Mangonels out on Beastyqt's side. Obviously, 3 Mangonels, the secret counter to 55 spearmen.
And they're nicely positioned in the back there, and Beastyqt, he just knows, okay, everything is going right for me. Everything is going for the long game that I love to play. He's ahead in villagers. Military is looking crazy good for him as well, although we see 100 military for Leenock, but it just feels like it's not really having the same fighting power. He can't really attack into Beastyqt.
Beastyqt's not only got that keep on the sacred site, but it's got boiling oil. And if the boiling oil is active when those spears are underneath, then I think it works out to be about 20 damage that gets put down on every single one of those spears. So you're going to be really careful with it. But now we see him moving up, and another castle will keep going to be going down. Trebuchet getting a little bit too far ahead of itself as we see the traction Trebuchets raining down rocks on that outpost. And line of sight going to be reduced significantly. Now looking to get that third keep up on the sacred site and really look to take control of this position. Got to be careful because all those villagers going down. Leenock down to 41 villagers nearly.
Oh god, 110 military, but he needs to make something happen. And Beastyqt, the longer he trades of army, the better it is for him. And he has the defensive advantage here with all those defensive buildings. And the knights are finding quite some damage. This could be the last fight.
Mangonel's shot coming in. It manages to miss the most of them. And you can see he's forcing them back on that Yam network buffed up. Going to be running in underneath the double keep here. We see the boiling oil come out on top of them. The siege mass really starting to build now for Beastyqt. He looks to try and defend this position at the same time, kiting back towards those keeps. He's got 3 keeps here. The first one does go down. Mangonel's going to be going down, but at the same time, all of the military from Leenock getting wiped out. He's got 50 military population at the moment, but a lot of that is siege towards the sacred site, and the sacred site is still yet to be captured.
Beastyqt, what a perfect defense. Indeed, 110 military flying in, now below 40. Raids behind this one as well. Leenock needs to send his army back to deal with it. Yeah, another keep might fall, but look at that. So many Springalds to deal with those traps.
So many Springalds coming out, and Beastyqt just putting on an absolute clinic today. This is why the French are #1 on this map. This is why you see them picked so often here. Beastyqt playing incredibly well, wins the game, goes up in the set 2-0.
Ooh, double fist pump. Look at that. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, he's just razor focused.
Really, yeah, really incredible stuff, and just very methodical play. I mean, once again, no mistakes coming out of him. He just plays it 100% the way that it should be played. Really well done. Has done his research as well. That's another thing. He has spotted, okay, how did Leenock win these games before?
Yep.
What do I need to do to stop that from happening? He got that keep out there so quickly.
Yeah.
Sacred site never even close to being taken.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, right? He even wanted to get there a bit earlier. The nice tower actually defended quite a bit for Leenock, but all those raids over and over again. I think he killed at least 40 villages that we witnessed.
Yeah, the consequence of being the Mongols, you don't get to wall up, so it really hurts, especially playing at this high level where French are going to be looking to kill villagers all the time. They have access to those knights in H2, and we saw at the very beginning of the game 2 villagers going down to that knight, and the story just continued. That was really the theme of the game. It was just Beasty slowly adding more buildings to the middle, building up his siege mass, and killing villagers for Leenock.
How beautifully he transitioned away from the tower rush that he got into the gold with a double tower setup.
Yep.
And the woodline behind, and wall of the right-hand side, right? So the woodline felt exposed, but you had to walk through those 2 towers to ever get there.
People typically are very hesitant about taking that central gold because not only do you have to walk out there, but typically once you secure up your base, you have to walk back. But he never had to walk back because he used those villages in the center to take stone and then to build castles and then to build outposts and to build God knows what. There was just so much going in there. So really well played from Beastyqt. He's up 2-0 in this series. We'll be heading into game 3 very shortly. Do we know what the map's going to be, Nilly?
It will be another pick for Leenock. The loser of the previous game will decide what map we are playing next. As you all know, we have 7 standard maps, and each player got to pick an additional map, so we could see a map twice here. Leenock picked Lipany, so we could see Lipany twice. Goes for Altai first, though.
Interesting that he goes for Altai here. So there's a few mind games that might go on here. Leenock wants to play Chinese on this map because it's very good against English, but English already taken out. Actually, those are switched around at the top. Those 2 civilizations. We'll have to make sure that those flags are fixed up. It was Leenock who played the English in the first game, and the Rus were played by Beastyqt in that first game. So we'll get that fixed up. But I mean, Leenock wants to play the Chinese here. It's very easy for Beastyqt to counterpick this with Holy Roman Empire, but if he does that, it means that he's not going to be able to use them on Hill and Dale, which is where he wants to use them. He does have the Delhi Sultanate available to him, so we could potentially see the Delhi Sultanate come out here.
Beastyqt looks a bit annoyed, right? It's not like the super focus, and Leenock, he just feels like in the zone. He's like drawn into the screen, and we will see the civilizations. Ooh.
English Delhi. So interesting play there by Beasty, going for the English, calling the bluff. Leenock saying...
Is he smiling? Is he smiling after this?
Beasty?
Yeah,
I think
it does look like it.
I think he's very happy with this because Beasty wanted to go up against Leenock's... Or he was very aware that the Chinese might come out, and he called the bluff. He said, all right, I'm playing English. Let's see your Chinese. But he was obviously too scared because he knew the Holy Roman Empire was still in his deck. And so he said... I'll roll the dice. I'll go with the Delhi. Now, a couple of things about the Delhi for Leenock. Doesn't play them too much. Beastyqt is going to the extent of saying he doesn't even know when to build the mosque.
Really?
So
Okay.
we'll see how good Leenock's deli is. Hopefully he's done a little bit of homework, a little bit of research for the other players or from the other players. Because yeah, heading into this game, game number 3, it's going to be important. He's going to need more than the strength of Delhi to carry him up against the powerful English of Beastyqt.
It's just so important that Leenock wins this game,
Yep.
right? Delhi has to convert the W here. It is another home map for Leenock. It is his pick, and English considered to be one of these civilizations with a lower win rate, still around 50%, slightly lower than that maybe. And Beastyqt, I think, didn't his dad say he never won with the English in this tournament yet?
Correct.
This has to be a win for Leenock. Looks really bad if he doesn't convert.
Looks really bad, and yeah, it's going to be a telling sign. I mean, if Leenock wins here, as you mentioned, it's so important that he gets his Delhi out there and that he wins with it. Delhi at this point in time, it's a free win, and so if you're not converting that, you're not only failing but also giving your opponent a free win because they haven't used their Delhi yet. So you're really behind, and that basically takes you up to 4-0 in the set. So we'll look to see how these players play it out.
No win with English.
No wins with English, so
Played Civ French. Story checks out so far.
definitely does. He did well with French in that last game. Leenock not so much, but Beastyqt up 2-0 in this set. Leenock, if there's ever been a time to lift right now, it is now. If you're a fan of Leenock, let me see it in the chat. Let me know if you're a fan of Leenock. If you want to see him fighting, let me know. But at the same time, if you're interested, if you're a fan of the Beastyqt, Nearly, I reckon they should say that as well.
And yeah, if you cheer for Beastyqt, no, I can't do that. I can't do the Dave sellout there. You can, well, maybe send some energy. Well, nearly energy in Leenock's direction here. He obviously does not want to go down 3-0. He does not want to get the L with Delhi. And this is our man who is leading 2-0 in this best of 9. Whoever gets 5 wins N4C and $30,000.
Spawning in on the west side of the map, we've got Beastyqt. He's playing the English. This, of course, is Altai. English, a great map for the English, a very good map. Sorry, English, a great civ on the map Altai. They're the words I was looking for, Nearly. A little bit hard to get those out. I think he's going to be pretty happy with this matchup.
Well, that's the big question mark, right? Especially Altai. How do we really get control over those sacred sites at the edge? It's pretty interesting to take a look at them, because with all those cliffs, it's kind of tricky. And yeah, they're a bit hidden behind. For example, the one at the left-hand side, Leenock won't really get there, right? He needs to make some wild walls happen to really control that one.
Yeah, but by the same token, that left one's going to be very open for Beastie to get his villager through. Nice little stealth forest on that opening as well. Keep it safe, and I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see him look to wall up on those positions. But yeah, Leenock going to be spawning in on the right side with the Delhi Sultan. You can see he's opening up with just the single scout. Already got the wheelbarrow in queue at this point in time.
Okay. So, now one scout being played by Leenock, and as we know, Delhi, they are opening with the mill, going for the berries, so really aggressive scouting. The question is, like, how many scouts will he find? And this is what they're clicking in Dark Edge. We don't see too much happening, but actually there's a lot of stuff happening on their screens.
Yeah, you can see Leenock, the APM, going ham. He is one of our highest, in fact, he is the highest APM player in the tournament at the moment, sitting at an average of about 300, 310, yeah. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means in those big fights, he's getting up really high, and you can see him collecting up the sheep right now. Now, keep in mind, he's actually on berries back at home, so he's not in a rush to get back to there.
Absolutely not. And now he is coming up with the mosque. Not sure if that's a perfect timing. We have to ask Beastyqt there, who felt like mosque timings weren't on point. 10 more gold to be collected, and then we're going up. As we can see, English player Beastyqt already on the way to the fuel age. Obviously, Council Hall, no big surprise. Ooh, goes on to early deer. That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise coming out here. Now, we can see that he's not collecting any gold, so no wheelbarrow is going to be coming out at this point in time. A little bit of a misclick right there for him, but fixes that up right away. He's going to be pretty happy with his spawn as well. Pretty safe wood line towards the back if he gets attacked. But the key here is really going to be preventing the sacred sites from being captured.
How he's not scouting.
He doesn't need to scout. He's playing the English.
Okay. But don't you want to see, like, is he going archer and is he going stable? Or is it that obvious that Leenock has to open the stable?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. In this matchup, you'd expect to see a stable come out, and maybe a stable in an archery range. But by the same token, Leenock could look to try and mix things up. But I suspect that Beasty's going to be very happy just playing defensive longbows, at least initially. Maybe look to start pushing out about that 6 or 7 minute mark. Probably build up his mass a little bit. Maybe drop some outposts down in the center as well. Potentially look to wall up around the edges. We'll see how he plays it, but controlling these sacred sites is really going to be the name of the game here.
Okay, remember herbal medicine, an upgrade that we won't allow. We didn't really have a lot of daddy, that's why we didn't really need to mention them multiple times. Players agreed that this one is too strong. Obviously Leenock will think about that, will still go for lots of scholars, to go for some healing and to go for some faster production out of his stable, out of his potential archer rangers after that.
Yeah, and we can see Beasty going to be collecting some sheep here on the back line as well. So a couple of Leenock's sheep over towards his side he manages to find, but now going to be looking to scout that out. Leenock does have the age up in Q. Dome of the Faith going to be, of course, the landmark that he goes with. No Tower of Victory shenanigans today.
Well, not today. We saw it.
We did see it a little bit. Only when you're forced to do it, though. And it looks like the stable does get scouted by Beastyqt here, so he knows exactly what his enemy is up to. And at the same time, we can see Leenock is producing a whole bunch of stuff over on the right-hand side of your screen. Still yet to get some of those upgrades, though. This is really important. A lot of people will forget this playing the deli. If it's not one of their main civs, they forget to get these economic upgrades. And now, finally, he gets it. We saw Vodka there clicking it. Almost looked like he clicked it for him.
Yeah, a bit like that. What's happening here with the deer? Beastyqt was a bit indecisive on what side of the forest he wanted to get home. Now with the barracks as well. And it's going to be the spearman, longbowman composition against the horseman. Now the big question, when is Leenock adding his archer range?
Yeah, we'll probably look to see him play a 1-1-1. It's quite strong.
Early.
Yeah, there we go. So already adding that in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a barracks even come out shortly as well. And just to give him a little bit of a meat shield fight up against the enemy spears, help him out. But he's obviously going to be looking to contend for these sacred sites. Leenock also has those scholars in queue. Keep in mind he'll leave a couple of villages on gold just to keep training those scholars. But yeah, Leenock at this point in time, he's looking pretty strong. Hasn't made any big mistakes yet.
PT and Sanctity relatively late. Doesn't want to go for the more HP, I believe, right? On those scholars. I think the order of upgrades typically a bit different there on the mosque.
Yeah, we'll take a look. So Sanctity coming through first.
Yeah.
Then he's going to have Piety, so plus 40, and then the All-Seeing Eye.
Ah, okay, the order was different. I was like reading it from left to right on the overlay.
Yeah.
Okay, this makes way more sense.
Yes, indeed it does. Also looks like Survival Technique's going to be coming through for him as well. So probably be moving out towards the hunt after he gets his Horticulture. But now towards the west side, we do see Beastyqt moving out with a villager. Does catch a wolf, but he manages to deal with it. Now going to be looking to actually wall up on that side, but look up towards the north as well. We've got more walls coming up as well. So Beastyqt doing the right thing and preventing his enemy from coming in onto these sacred sites without too much of a challenge.
Clever, clever play indeed. Look at that. Leenock still getting more upgrade there. And, oh, that's actually the wrong side, no? Don't you want to wall in front of it?
Yeah, you do.
What?
So he might be looking to do an outpost behind the wall, and then that way he can sort of deny the units. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely the wrong side here. He might be thinking about coming towards the center and just walling him out from that angle instead. I don't know. Interesting.
I'm a bit surprised.
Outpost up in the middle, though, going to be protecting this sacred site. You can see it provides that network of castles bonus as well. Glowing units going to be screaming a little bit louder with their Strelborers. And but now the production, it's really starting to kick off. He's got that scholar inside the archery range.
Still, like, what's the KD in this game? It feels like 0-0, right?
Yeah.
7.5 minutes in, no real units dying, and horsemen are trying to find a different angle, trying to intercept, and now, oh, we go in for the full wall in. Ooh, interesting choice.
Very interesting. This is something that you normally see Delhi players do. You don't typically see it out of English players, but yeah, maybe he made a mistake and then realized, okay, I'm just going to fix it up and actually turn it into something good. You know what they say, when you give them lemons, you got to make lemonade.
That's simple. And lots of lemonade to be made here by Beastyqt. Tries to send those scholars out. Will actually pass by.
Yeah.
And get there.
Interesting. He's actually just sending it around the long way here. The consequence of not walling in the sacred site up to the north the full way around like he did on the west side. So a little bit of a mistake there, but now that villager going to get taken down. I suspect Leenock's going to know exactly what is up because he sees that villager and he knows it can only mean one thing. Villager going to be going down. Longbow's doing their best and a pretty big mass coming out for Beastyqt at this point.
Still not a single blacksmith upgrade finished for Leenock. Quite surprising here. What are the timings? Would really love to see that. And oh, double wolf for both scholars. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, you can outrun them if you've got that piety upgrade. It allows you to stay a little bit alive a little bit longer, but you got to do the ring of the rosy, ring around the rosy on the sacred site to avoid dying in this situation. If he picks up a third wolf, he's going to be in for a tough time, but Horseman running up to help him out.
What a funny thing. I've not expected that one. Now Horseman trying to get control of the left-hand side as well. Beastyqt still messing up in the center. Leenock with a small advantage. Still remember, this one feels... I don't want to say it, but it feels a bit like a small match point to me for Leenock. Or like for Beastyqt, like Leenock needs to win this.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely a break point at this point in time. And now we see him going to be able to capture the sacred site, walks the long way onto it, and a little bit of action now down towards this western sacred site. Scholar did go down. It looks like he's inside the walls there, but I suspect he's just fallen down the cliff there, Nilly.
Yeah, through the fence there for sure. And let's take a look. Now sacred side control. Might even go for that wolf. And now the big question is like, what does Beastyqt send? How much army does he send? Because if he only sends those longbowmen, that won't be enough. He will run into quite a bit of horsemen.
Yeah, I think you can just get away with sending one longbow to try and deny that sacred site. I don't think you need any more than that.
But it won't work.
But that's okay. It's not about whether it works. It's a gamble. And already we can see that this gamble is paying off for Beastyqt. He's walled up that south sacred site. He's taken control of the center. Only one sacred site has been captured, and we're at the 10-minute mark. Typically, the Delhi would want to have all 3 sacred sites ticking at 7 minutes 30.
That's super early then. English, though, we consider them to be one of the better civilizations of contesting those sacred sites, and we really see why English just having such a strong army, not the most mobile one, but really strong early on. And Delhi, they need to wait for the upgrades. Still only one blacksmith upgraded.
Little bit of a raid coming in on the gold mine towards the back of Beastyqt's base. We see one villager does go down. Second villager almost goes down, but you got to be careful here. This town center, it's like a Gatling gun, but with arrows. It fires very, very quickly.
Lumbercam could be replaced there as well. Now pushed away from gold. Not really that English is counting on gold, but they are counting on villager kills, and they will find some here. Leenock even stays on that wood line. Sneaky tower, spearman far in the back, and what's that mill?
That is a curious mill that is coming up right now. Interesting. I guess he's got outposts there to defend it. That's one of the things to note. But at the same time, we see him sieging down this gold mine. So he'd be keeping tabs on that, making sure that there's not too much gold taken from it, and he knows whether...
Oh, so many villager kills here. Look at that. 6 down, 7 down now, and he will continue doing that. Is 3 villagers ahead in total. Actually quite close. I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, he's got to be careful not to overextend right now. Beastyqt definitely playing on the edge. This could be very bad for him. We talked a little bit earlier about how this is the break point right now for Leenock. If he loses this game, he's going to be in a terrible position, but at the same time, he's got so many horsemen here.
Oh, but also Spearman now taking quite some fights, and the archers weren't really fully focusing. Longbowman numbers dropping quite heavily, though.
This is not good right now for Beastyqt. A lot of these units going down. You can see the archers doing a great job of taking care of these spears, and this is a really bad overextension right now for Beasty.
Oh, he felt like he could do some. He still did find some villager kills, so it was good for him in that regard, but now the whole army is getting cleared up. The tower will fall behind this, and Leenock happy to take this fight this way.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And as the feudal age continues on, it's only going to grow stronger for Leenock. He's got every single one of his economic upgrades. Beasty doesn't even have his wheelbarrow yet. So it's a really difficult position. So he's got all 4 of those upgrades in. He's got the first of the sacred sites. He's going to be working towards the second as well as the third. Now a battering ram comes down. Like Leenock, he is getting into gear. He's in second gear right now. He's about to hit third gear, and then he's going to press the NOS. And that's when he's going to go boom.
Did Leenock play double blacksmith here? Because Siege Engineer is already finishing and he has another upgrade. Or is he just queuing up everything in the blacksmith? Seems like 1 blacksmith for now. Still not really on gold. Only the 1 sacred site, generating 150 gold per minute after the last patch. All that carries him. And Leenock now feels like he can go for those berries at the left-hand side.
Yeah, really smart move here by Leenock. Going to be moving towards this central location, capturing up the second of the sacred sites. And now we see the neutralization of the sacred site up towards the north. All he needs to do is send up 1 longbow. I'd be curious to see whether that's what he went with. But now that scholar going to be moving towards that central sacred site. Got to be careful, though, not to lose it before the battering ram manages to take out the outpost in the back. He's got to be careful. You see those longbows moving up for potential snipe here. He falls back at the same time. Got that extra health from Piety coming out. So he's being very careful, but at the same time, I think he's going to be able to make it.
But heard from earlier, I think he should send his army around, go for some healing here with that. Tower in some problems. Look at that, over 20 population lead, but Sacred Site at the top neutralized.
Yeah, the single longbow going up there and doing exactly what it needed to do, just denying that gold from coming out. So he's going to have to, you know, APM another villager or another scholar up towards that direction. Look right here, coming in for a bit of a snipe. He's got to be so careful. Oh no, that scholar, if that goes down, he delays it even further. They're committing to it. It doesn't look like the arrows get off, and the scholar's going to be okay. The Sacred Site gets captured, and Leenock going to be looking in a good position heading into this third game.
Double military count now for Leenock, and look at his resources. He will soon click up to Castle Age as well. Still no villagers on gold. Maybe something that he could transition onto. Okay, now doing that. Ram is now maybe even finding a kill against that blacksmith before the armor finishes. Could we get an update there on the timing?
Oh, it's going to be close. You can see it down to 1 second. He gets it through, so he's going to be very happy camper with that one, having a little bit of extra armor under his belt, but age 3 coming through now for Leenock.
Okay, that's really nice for him. And he won't build that House of Learning with too many villagers. Feels like he has enough control there. Maybe feels okay, I don't have enough gold to go for mass men-at-arms anyway. I will just continue to produce some more horsemen and archers. We'll try to find another engagement. Tries to pressure those farms.
Yeah, huge amount of pressure coming in at the front side. You can see all of these spears, or rather horsemen, moving forward to take out the longbow. Spears came through. Got to be careful underneath this town center. Keep in mind, even though you've got that +1 ranged armor that Leenock's got, if you get underneath that town center, you're going to be losing a lot of units. That thing goes absolutely ham. Villagers going down. We can see the villager lead beginning to build for Leenock as well. Keep in mind the Sacred Sites behind that as well, and also all those upgrades, those juicy economic upgrades.
Could maybe go for the Sacred Site at the top. Obviously, the one at the bottom still walled in. And Leenock, as you can see, nothing in the queue. This has to be a tech switch. What is he going for? Is it going to be Lancers? Is it going to be Men-at-Arms? Men-at-Arms just feels so likely.
Yes. Both of those units seem really, really good into this composition. Even at this point, playing full Lancer or full Knight into Spears, as long as they're H2 Spears, you're absolutely fine with it. Sacred Site up towards the north gets captured. That's 2 that he's got now. The third one down towards the south still stands quite strong. But once again, you're playing up against the Delhi, and, you know, he's now entering into third gear. He's about to
more barracks, more scholars. Look at that. Triple barracks with 2 with scholars inside. So roughly 5 barrack production now started. And Men-at-Arms should just be flying in. Leenock, that should be a pretty big push. And still so many resources in the bank. Didn't really press the production yet.
Not yet, not yet. Don't worry. The NOS is going to go down very soon, I assure you. But we can see that the force is beginning to move out from Beastyqt. He's trying to hit before the mass begins building, but you can see that all of the units are going to be coming out shortly for Leenock. Hasn't actually clicked up. You're right. Those men-at-arms. He's got how many barracks did we see? Like 5 barracks?
Basically, there are 3 barracks, but 2 with scholars inside, so I counted them as 5. And now the men-at-arm production, still only 1 in the queue. Okay, maybe some behind, and would have loved to see quite some more aggression. Now picking up some relics here, and will get quite an advantage in that regard as well.
Yeah, so even though he's lost the Sacred Sites, he's used that gold that it generated to get him up to the next stage, enables his scholars to capture those relics. He's got 2 already, and quite far away ones. He's got a safe one back behind him, another one in the middle of the map.
Good snipe by Beastie.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Force March now coming through as well for Leenock. He's got to be careful. Villagers up on this high ground here. Couple berries, got to be careful. But now we see he's also getting that +2 range defense as well.
Population Drongo. Look at that. What's happening here?
Leenock dropping down a little bit. He's got a lift right now. He's got plenty of resources in the bank because he's got 5 men-at-arms on the way.
Another scholar could die.
Oh, it's not.
How many scholars did he lose in this game? Like 6, 7 already, and we're only 17 minutes in. Men-at-arms now need to take the fight. Horsemen are coming in as well, but that's not enough numbers. He will lose more villagers.
Yeah, the men-at-arms going to be pushing forward. Keep in mind, these guys still yet to get their +2 upgrades. Going to have 5 ranged armor on them up against the 7 of the longbows. So doing 2 damage a pop, those longbows, it's not going to be enough. You can see Beastyqt trying his best, aging up as well. So going to be looking to try and keep up with the resource count of his enemy, but it's going to be a difficult sell.
At least get that relic. Men-at-arms are pushing it back now. Still the plus attack is not coming in. Obviously will take some time there in the House of Learning. And we can see that Leenock, yeah, he's pushing back, but it feels like Beastyqt with some upgrades in Castle Age shouldn't really die against this wave.
Yeah, this is looking better for Beastyqt. He's managed to hold up until this point and obviously delayed the sacred sites being captured by Leenock. That one down to the south still yet to be taken, and keep in mind there's a relic inside that bad boy too, so even if he gets a scholar over there, not going to be able to do too much.
Maybe one man-at-arm could have been an option to just slowly try to break that, but he felt, okay, most man-at-arms will be needed here in the front. Now the second town center being dropped, not your typical Delhi move.
Yeah, but I think this is a smart play. He knows that Beasty's going to be going up to the castle age. You can already see him up in there. Needs to keep up with regard to the economy. He's got the relics. He's got a couple of sacred sites. Actually, he's got no sacred sites right now. This isn't looking the best for Leenock. I mean, Beasty's just microing him out here.
Yeah, really good job. Beasty can't really afford the upgrades, though, as you can see. Now he has enough gold to go for the veteran upgrade. Indeed does that now. Some more spearmen here in the front. And Beastyqt, he keeps his longbow mass alive. I think Leenock needs to add some siege.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Leenock has...
Ooh.
Hello. Nice little keep in the middle of the map. Pretty smart move. I like this from him. It's going to force Beasty to make his own siege, whether he looks for battering rams or trebuchets. It's going to be one of those two, but it's going to take time for him to get there. If we take a look at the blacksmith, I'm assuming that we don't have siege engineering coming through just yet for Beastyqt. We'll take a look, and yeah, no siege engineering just yet. So probably going to have to go into trebuchets because that looks like a very strong keep.
Yeah, nice position there in the center of the map, and Beastyqt won't expect that. Even moves in, now has to click back. That can't be the greatest move. Population still pretty close, and I'm shocked how little sacred site control we had for Leenock in this game.
And this is what Beasty was saying. He said even though Leenock is a very good player, he hasn't played a lot of Delhi, so it means he's forgetting things like this sacred site. Just sending out a single scholar to each sacred site right as Sanctity is about to come in. It's a really important thing, something that he missed. We saw a bit of a delay on those upgrades for the first, or the feudal age economic upgrades, something that he missed. And now once again in this mid game, we see Leenock's Delhi suffering a little bit here because he's failing to re-secure those sacred sites.
We have to question though, was it like Leenock's mistake, or was it just the beauty of Beastyqt, who was so active, who actively walled in landmarks, who actively tried to contest them, was in the center with the longbowman, had towers in there as well. He made the life so hard for Leenock controlling those sacred sites.
Yeah, I think definitely Beasty has done a great job with that. The walls up towards the north, the walls down towards the south. You know, he stood steadfast in the middle, overextended a bit in that early game, so a bit of a throw. But now we see a second keep coming down. This is an interesting playstyle from Leenock. Interesting to note, he went with the House of Learning, didn't go with the Compound of the Defender here.
Okay, Combat of the Defender, obviously not really the best thing if you think that you can't build towers, stone towers anyways, right?
Yeah, but it reduces the cost down of those keeps. So instead of paying 800, you'd only be paying 600. So technically, you'd only be forking out 1,200 stone for this right now instead of the 1,600.
Still quite like those extra attack for those men-at-arms and
it is
all the
quite
other
good,
upgrades.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've seen a bit more play out of that Compound of the Defender, but not enough really to carry it to that next level. Village fortresses coming through. One of my favorite technologies in the game, Nilly.
I know. Allows you to build villages out of fortresses, which is really weird, out of those keeps. And, well, then you can put them to the front, can collect some more stone, can even build more of those keep, and can just get more control, which is Leenock now getting on other ways.
Leenock still yet to siege down any of the walls down towards this south point. And not even really sending units, not interested in sending units down here. We see a bit of a raid coming through here. 5 knights.
No wall.
No walls.
Barry's exposed.
Not the best play. It's not feeling particularly good right now for Leenock, but village account relatively even. Military account very even. 29 versus 29. 3 relics captured for Leenock at this point. Nice little raid towards the back here. Beasty with a... Oh, was that a bit of an esports?
Esports scratch. Yeah.
Never want to be doing one of those. Not in the middle of a $100,000 tournament, that's for sure. But you can see him now moving up towards the north, looking to secure up the stone of his enemy. These knights are going to be coming in. What villages are they going to be looking at? We'll take a look inside the base of Leenock. There's a fair few farms out here. He's got to be careful. Let's see if Leenock spots this before the villagers go down. It doesn't look like it. Warning siren going to go off. He's still not getting there. Now they come in. So plenty of villagers moving in. Looks like 3 have gone down so far, 4 potentially.
Yeah, now we have 4, maybe even more. Luckily, the town center is relatively close by. Will help them out, but only 10 villagers can hide into the town center, so that's not going to be the trickiest thing. Men-at-arms okay in trading off, but not really the fast killers here against the knights, and they will continue finding some kills. Beautiful raid for Beastyqt. Now a solid 10 villagers ahead after he finishes the raid, but obviously showed his cards, showed that he has to have multiple stables prepared.
Yeah, definitely indicating a bit of his composition here, but now we can see a bit of a push towards the front. Leenock with a springled out on this Trebuchet. Trebuchet getting healed up by the villagers, but a very nice trade there for Beastyqt. He'll be happy with that.
So
Pulling
much
ahead by 8 villagers.
So much stone now taken away. Right.
Speaking of stone.
Uh-oh, next keep here, and that makes the trap's life so much trickier. Then you can't really repair, and that's a nice defense again. Leenock just pushes in even further. Population so close, though. Aussie Drongo.
Yeah, we see those longbows looking to try and take out a few of those villagers before the keep gets up. They're actually going to be forced back, so that keep going to be going down before it even manages to get up. Those knights still in the back of the base, doing absolute work there for Beastyqt. Just making Leenock's life a living hell. He's trying his best to hold on, but having a tough time. Look at the economic upgrades coming through for Leenock now. He's got 222. Compare that over to Beasty, who's sitting on 000.
Wheelbarrow, the only upgrade that he really has, and that just means Leenock's. You look at the villager count and feel like 64 against 76, but probably Leenock even ahead in the efficiency of those workers, but keeps looting those. Not the biggest fan of that. So active there for Beastyqt, who is now raiding at 3 different angles.
Yeah, raids coming down absolutely everywhere. The capital town centre going to be falling back for these villagers, managing to pick up a couple villagers here on the farms, and at the same time, those guys get so distraught by what they were doing. Keep goes down to the front line, boiling oil complete.
It was not completed. It actually was killed.
Oh, that's terrible. Big mistake right there for Leenock. Oh, that feels so bad. Now going to be falling back. Look at all of the knights. Once again, we're seeing a consequence of no walls. When you try and play this no wall challenge up against Beastyqt, a master of the late game, you get punished.
Ooh, we have to take a look at the base, though, of Beastyqt. How much wood does he have at control? Nothing here. Some at the top, running dry.
Ooh.
That's maybe 2,000 wood left. This one is fully controlled, and he, I think, only has 1 gold spot left. So I think the longer Leenock can hold this fortification, the better it is for him.
Men-at-Arms trying to deal with these knights in the back line, but just having so much of an issue, and still we don't see walls coming down for Leenock. He's down to 47 villagers. He's almost half the amount of villagers that Beastyqt's got. This is a massive game for Beastyqt. If he can win this, it is a significant break point for him, because he's still got the deli that he can use. He's still got the HRE. Oh my god, another raid coming in now, Nilly.
Beastyqt playing the tournament of his life. What is he achieving? Look at that. So many raids coming in. He's so active. And Leenock, he has the front control, but maybe needed wards behind this.
This is absolute lunacy coming out right now from Beastyqt. We see a third Trebuchet as well. There's going to be no way that he can contest that. And we can see the Springles having to fall back on that front line. And now Beastyqt just continuing to raid Leenock. More than double the villager count right now. 84 versus 42. It's not looking pretty for Leenock.
Oh, this is so good for Beastyqt here. Villager-wise, more than double. Military-wise, he's only slightly behind, but obviously will have the defender's advantage. Took out those keep. 3 keep down now, and still denying 2 of the relics because he's so active on the map with all his knights and with all his raids. Now goes onto some stone, maybe gets a keep up in the center himself.
Yeah, if he can get that keep up, he's going to be in a great position, because then that forces Leenock to be making his own trebuchets, and then that forces him to be behind. So really smart move there from Beasty to not necessarily delay the game, but to continue having a significant villager advantage. That's what it is for him, because right now he's up about 40 villagers. The longer this game goes on, the more resources he's collecting over his opponent.
But it's just constant raids. Leenock is not learning. Where are the walls? Where's the protection? He doesn't keep spearmen there. Now, finally, he realizes, maybe I need to put something on the map to prevent those raids, because they are crazy good by Beastyqt.
And now sends out villagers to go build the walls. Once again, a little bit of a problem, because he's playing the deli. The deli can build walls with their infantry, so it's one of the consequences of not playing enough deli on the ladder. Keep in mind, Leenock's played 2,000 ladder games, but not a lot of those have been with the deli.
It feels like those ladder games only started in December as well, so he really got them in quite some short time. Now villagers even being sent out, and the light is still alive. Leenock, it just looks like every single map he's a step behind right now. More villagers dying.
More villagers dying, down to 37 now for Leenock. It's not looking pretty right now. This is almost a 3 times villager advantage for Beastyqt. And a third town center going to get thrown down here for Leenock. He knows he's behind, and he knows he needs to lift. So that's what he's going to be doing. That's his Hail Mary. But look at the forces starting to build up for Beasty. He's on 70 military population.
So many villagers now reclaiming that gold area in the center, and now he can reclaim that wood as well. And Beastyqt will be happy with how the last minutes went for him. He just saw so many villagers going down. Now builds keep there, wants to get some grab of that sacred site.
Yeah, this is a smart move from Beasty, securing this one up. But still, we see a sacred site up to the north being, you know, very easily obtainable. Not doing so, Leenock making a bit of a mistake. The same time towards the south, still that sacred site with the relic inside. Very happily walled up by Beastyqt. We're at the 28 minutes into the game. It's been up for 23 minutes right now and still stands so strong.
I think just 1 minute arm at one point could have been an option. Oh,
Yep.
Look at that range of that keep as well. Finds a scholar kill, and Beastyqt, he has to be happy with his position in the game. Reclaiming so much area, and he will be maybe a bit surprised, like, shouldn't Delhi have more?
Yeah, I think that's definitely it, but he knows that he's prevented these sacred sites, and we see another raid coming in with Beasty. I love the way he leaves 2 knights on one of the villages and then sends 4 off into another direction. Really smart moves from him. 42 villages now for Leenock. Beastyqt on the other side, 83 military, 100 villages.
Oh, and finds another villager kill here. Beastyqt, how many villager kills did he find this game? Feels like 60, 70. We are triple TC Delhi at 42 villagers.
It's not looking pretty right now for Leenock. He's trying to keep his head above water. At the same time, we've seen Elephant starting to come out, a pretty effective counter against the composition that Beastyqt has got. So we'll see how they do, because keep in mind, they can be very powerful. They can pack a punch when it comes to these fights, but Beastyqt just going to be sitting back, playing it safe, not overextending. We saw it in the early game. He overextended. It almost cost him the game. He manages to keep his head above water now, so he's looking good. But you know, it's about not pushing out any further for him. He really needs to wait until he gets Imperial, gets those upgrades, gets enclosures, then he can start to play.
Let's take a look. Someone is building in keep in the center of the map. Who wants to be that aggressive? And yeah, villagers are moving forward. That's on top of the hill. I don't really think that one should go out, at least not without a major fight.
This is quite optimistic. Elephants do stand by, ready to target down that building. You can see he's not really reacting yet. He's got to wake up. The Mangonels are standing there as well. Leenock, he's got 300 APM, but it looks like he needs 400 to deal with this keep. And still standing by idly, now reacting. It's just too little too late.
Oh, that's so good. And Beastyqt gets control over that crazy hill. Now the network of citadels there as well. Not only 25% extra damage, but 50% extra attack speed here for all his units. Beastyqt, he is just in full control, major hill control.
Yeah, and Leenock going to be fighting uphill quite literally here. Look at that big hill. You can take a look at his line of sight right now. He can barely see out of his base. He can see in front of his nose just barely. It's so hard for him to fight this.
Beastyqt moves in now. Springfield fight. He wants to trade off. Actually, Delhi quite behind, and once you're behind, it's so tricky to come back. But Beastyqt disengages, wants to take better control on that hill. Feels like, okay, I don't need even fights. I can just take better fights every single time.
And that's exactly it. Even if he takes even fights, he's going to be okay because he's got those extra villagers. But now we can see the trebuchets beginning to work down on the buildings in the base of Leenock. And once again, I mean, it's really been the story of this tournament. If I was going to come back and look at these series and say, how did Beasty play it? Methodically. And we see keep crawling happening. So he is once again pushing with keeps in the center of the map, beginning to put more keeps down on that sacred site, and really just having a great time here.
Also learning, not the most important thing right now to kill. All the castle edge upgrades are already through. Tries to go for some more raids here with the knights. Beastyqt sits at pop 200. Leenock, quite some resources floating, and goes for more elephants. Tries to muscle up an army. Does he have 15 elephants? Do I see that correctly? No, that's 15 population. They just take up 3. Overlay at the top screwed me a bit.
Are you sure?
He can't have 15 elephants.
If he has 15 elephants, then maybe he's in with a fighting chance.
So obviously they count as 3 population, and therefore we see 5 on the map and 2 more in the queue.
Right, okay. Maybe we'll have to speak to Overlay Guy, maybe get that fixed up, because it can be a bit confusing, but now we see those Springlords getting taken out. Springlords for Leenock, managing to find some good shots in there. Look at the keeps looking so strong on top of these hills.
160 population though, so Leenock is increasing. Both players staying in castle edge, and I think if we get to the like 200 versus 200 pop fight with some elephants mixed in, I actually like the position of Delhi more.
Yeah, and you got to be really careful going up against that, because if the Delhi gets the big tempo going, then it can really hit you hard. And we see that second town center going to get worked down now. Keep in mind that capital town center just over towards the right-hand side. And you can see the trebuchets actually firing upon those knights. And now coming in for a stone wall back behind the base of Leenock. It feels so dirty when you do this, but It's exactly how you win in this position.
Remember, we still have all the upgrades for the Delhi players, so economy is better. Not really 60 villagers against 115, but relatively speaking for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And now we see another keep coming up, and this methodical push continues moving forward. Beasty really demonstrating how to keep push. And this is something that in Age of Empires 2 we see a lot from players, and now we see it beginning to transition over into Age of Empires 4, but interestingly, from a StarCraft player.
Elephants now pushing in. Obviously, they have so much HP. Where are the scholars, though? Where is the healing for those elephants? Don't really see that. Could have been a nice addition. Traps now pushing forward. Beastyqt tries to hold this one up. Remember, plus 50%. He does quite some damage, but boiling oil.
Yeah, boiling oil going to be absolutely important here. We can see Beasty falling back in this position towards that sacred site. The the trebuchet is going to be firing off in multiple directions. It doesn't really matter, but now those longbows do get back. They're going to be slowly but steadily tapping away at those elephants and look to take them out. At the same time, the trebuchet is unfolding down here for Leenock. He's looking to try and clear out this position. You can see he's dropped down a fair bit of population, but still looking relatively good.
Why is he attacking that keep for so long? I think he could have found a different angle. Another keep goes down, and Leenock with quite a nice push, but still 60 population behind, and elephants are going down. Villagers are going in for the trap kill, and they get it.
Yeah, they're killing 3 trebuchets there. That's absolutely massive. Villagers coming in clutch. We now see Chad Armour coming out for Beastyqt. You can see that he's got a little bit of a breathe going through right there. He's feeling good about himself. Heart rate up to 123. Leenock on the other side, cool as a cucumber for him.
Yeah, for his standards, this is like close to meditation.
Yeah, so he's typically up around that 140, 150 mark. He's sitting at 101. You can see a little bit of an esports head shake right there. Leenock knows he might be in trouble. Still holding himself above water for this point in time. He's trying his best. Doesn't want to tap out. Knows how important it is to stay in this game.
Absolutely. He still tries to find the W, although it is getting trickier and trickier. Elephant count now down to 2. No real army for him, and he might be the one struggling with wood pretty soon. And now the Berkshire Palace in a beautiful position in the center of the map.
Yeah, there's not too many words you need for that one. I think oof is just about it. Like it's so difficult to deal with this. Once the bombard comes up in that as well, 15 range going off every 10 seconds. That thing's going to be doing so much work. I don't know how Leenock comes back from that.
He's trying to make something happen with some traps here. Obviously, crazy behind there when it comes to the population army count. Not really too scary. 37 here. Yeah, he still has 3 relics. Yeah, he has lots of nice upgrades, but mainly floating wood right now, and Beastyqt reaches Imperial Age. Instant enclosure.
Yeah, Leenock knows he's in trouble. Yeah, instant enclosures. He knows what he's doing. I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, Beasty, he loves his English, hasn't been particularly successful with them this tournament, but this is such a difficult game for Leenock because he's going up against Beasty's English, which was, up at this point, unvictorious. You know, undefeated. It's the opposite of that, unvictorious. He hadn't won a single game on the English. And going up against Leenock's Delhi, which is arguably, not even arguably, unarguably, the best civilization in the game right now.
What a long esports scratch by Leenock there.
Oh, it's not looking pretty for him. Look at the forces coming out right now, and also going to be mining gold on the front line. 4 trebuchets down here towards his position. We can see them unfolding on those outposts at the same time, moving down towards his position. Looks like, do we have elite upgrades coming through yet for any of the units from Beastyqt?
Not really, and that makes it so weird that he's trying to force some engagement. I'm a bit surprised there. I think just waiting for the upgrades could have been a good thing. Just wants to get other stuff though. Look at all those emplacements on the way, and more range for Springles. Wants to deal with those traps.
Yeah, 5 traps now coming out for Leenock. This is a great number of traps. The question is whether he's going to be having enough to hold them. You can see them firing off at the trebuchet, not doing too much damage at all. And these longbows are so difficult to deal with because he's going to be able to fall back towards these keeps, these Berkshire Palace that he's got here. But it does go down. I mean, Leenock manages to hold.
Finally, some Mangonauts for Leenock. Could maybe take a better fight then. But as we saw, Beastyqt, he should have the Springles. He should have more range for himself. Okay, at least that landmark going down. 16 range. Oh no, 15 range you said. Quite nice, but obviously 16 for those traps.
Yeah, what he needs to do here is fire ground on the keep of his enemy. So he doesn't actually need to have line of sight on it. He can just attack the ground for where that keep is, and that will do the damage. And you can see he's doing a huge amount of damage right there. So Leenock finding a critical mass of trebuchets and really taking a page out of Beasty's book here, in that he's got a decent mass of siege beginning to build up, and now those spears coming in from the north. Longbows firing off on the backs of Springles, looking to try and do damage, but keep in mind, we've got this little bit of a weird hill, and you can see those Springles coming up forward for a bit of a Springled hug. They're going to be trying their best not to die, but the attention of the elephants is turned towards them. Is he doing it? Is there any way Leenock manages to push this?
Leenock is pushing this one back, indeed. Only 30 population behind now. Man-at-Arms obviously good against longbows. Elephants great against longbows. Those Mangonauts won't really find the efficiency because there are not a lot of units out. Now Springnotes are pushing forward and still lots of traps.
2 Mangonels now being brought out for both players here. On top of the hill, they do fire down upon the Men-at-Arms. Managed to get a pretty decent trade out, but both of them do go down. Crossbows on the back here for Leenock. A little bit curious. Looks like Leenock's still going to be able to hold on this position. But these traps are going to move back because I tell you what, there's not a lot of units here to defend them.
Look at the queue by Beastyqt though. Elite Man-at-Arms and 22 in the queue. What's happening there? Observer could maybe show us, but it doesn't really matter. Beastyqt, another double fist pump. Has to be super happy. Takes the 3-0 against Delhi.
Against Delhi on his English as well. Unvictorious English. I don't know if that's a word. I don't think that's a word, but his English yet to be victorious. That has been scratched out. He is now victorious against Leenock's Delhi. It looks like Leenock might be coming out just to have a little bit of a cool down, maybe go for a bit of a shower. He's going to need some time after that one. Going up against the English as the Delhi, you always feel like you're going to win that one, but...
he should have. He should have. Leenock will take a small break, and obviously... we are sponsored by Logitech, and we have the great Mr., one of the divas on this tournament, actually being very, very careful on how he sets everything up. And I looked over his shoulder and asked him a bit, Mr., what is your setup routine? And he gave us all the insights. Take a quick look. We are back in 3 minutes with more Beastyqt and Leenock.
I'm here with the Mr., and he is very picky when it comes to his setup. And he wants to give us some more intel. Mister, what are you thinking about? What do you care when setting up for a tournament game?
Now, it's obviously really important to have my funds together. And I always have one guy charging while the other guy is working. Now, I have some distances here that are actually from my own house. So I always want my mousepad to be in a kind of pointy way towards me at this distance, and 2.5 of this distance is the distance of my monitor. So I can always have the same distance with my my point of view. Now, as you can see here, I'm actually having my monitor slightly to the right, and that's because it gives me space to use my mouse. I had to adjust this box. I had to get these boxes in order to raise the monitor because I always like my eyes to meet the top of the screen. That helps my back. And also using some a trick here. I'm using three €2 coins here in order to level up the screen, because from this side it's not touching anywhere, so it was uneven. And unfortunately, I've learned to play with the keyboard really far away, so it's really important that my elbow does not touch the desk, or else you can actually hurt your elbow. And I think that's the main thing. Like, it's the distance of the screen and the distance of the keyboard, and it's really important for me that my hand half touches the desk and the other half is touching the mousepad, because I have slightly sweaty palms. For obvious reasons, I'm using the fan because of that. And it's really important for me to always count the distance of the movement from my wrist when I have the half of the wrist touching the desk, so I don't have to move my wrist.
Fascinating.
His mouth doesn't move.
With a smile in the end there.
Wow. Wasn't that just absolutely beautiful? I can't believe the extent he goes to make sure his setup is perfect.
Yeah, and he also crops the game.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to move his head that much.
Wow, we got to get this guy a 17-inch monitor for the next one, I think. That is, yeah, it's pretty wild the extent that he goes to get comfortable. A lot of players seem to not fuss too much about it, but obviously it's very important to him.
Yeah.
I think I found myself a little bit similar of a position today going up against a certain Nilly. Nilly, I hate to throw you under the bus right now, but You gave me the equivalent of a laptop keyboard with a mouse bought at a supermarket.
We agreed on this 3 days ago,
Hotkeys.
and you did nothing.
Literally, MarineLorD's mum was using those hotkeys. It was absolutely terrible.
I restarted the first game after the hotkeys weren't great, and you just went through with it. Like, why am I to blame here?
Because I have honor.
You don't have honor.
I have honor.
You play a game, and after you lose, you try
I
to
have honor.
No, that's simply not true.
If I say it enough, it makes it true.
No. That's a trick my girlfriend always tries to use on me as well, but no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Logic. Straight through the honor. All right, well, game 4, not too long away, actually. Yeah, game 4, not too long away. At the moment, 3-0 for Beastyqt. I mean, I'd almost be tempted to call it 4-0 because he's got Deli up his sleeve still. And how do you deal with a Deli of a person who actually plays the Civ at a competitive level?
Well, maybe with English. Maybe you try to go with quite some longbowmen, some spearmen. Try to wall off those sacred sites and not give him control of those.
Okay, all right. I like the way that you're thinking.
Okay,
yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Obviously, heading into the next game, we don't know what the map's going to be yet.
Players are taking a small break there. They ask us for a 5-minute break. We gave it to them. Obviously, best of 9 can be pretty exhausting, and we want to have the highest level of games. So, makes a lot of sense. Give them some rest. Games have been pretty intense.
Yeah.
And even though we feel sometimes, okay, there was not a lot of fighting happening in the last 2-3 minutes, we always see when we jump into their PVs, their keyboards are burning.
Yeah, absolutely burning up. I think I actually saw the keyboard of Leenock. There was a point where it started lifting up.
Yeah. The other day, the fire extinguisher even took his keyboard, right?
That is true. Yeah. So you got to be careful. And I think there's obviously OHS issues that get into it, but. Game 4, we don't have a map just yet. What's your suspicions? What's your predictions? Obviously, Leenock still has that Lipany up his sleeve.
I think double Lipany. I think if you pick Lipany as your home map, you have to pick Lipany at one point.
Yeah.
Right? Because we still have potential 6 more maps. 2 of them would be Lipany, and we would have a repeat of Mongolian Heights, kind of the home map of Beastyqt.
Yeah. So, are we going to potentially see Abbasid Dynasty come out for him, do you think? Abbasid, obviously a ban that was used by TheMista, of all people, in that first round up against Leenock.
He goes for Dry Arabia now.
Interesting.
Abbasid makes, I think, more sense on Lipany. I think we want to see something really aggressive here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see French. Maybe he wants to pick HRE as well, but we still have... And we go for Abbasid for Leenock, Delhi for Beastyqt. He wants to finish it.
I think he's going to be very happy with this. Obviously, Leenock could have gone for French here. I think that would have made a lot of sense. French quite good on Dry Arabia, but by the same token, I think Leenock realizes that it's go time. Curious that he went for Dry Arabia and not for Liberty. Maybe trying to avoid playing against the Delhi. Kind of, maybe he's thinking if I save Lipany, then he's going to pick the Delhi into that. But I think it makes sense here to go for Delhi, and I'm looking forward to seeing a real clinic coming out from Beastyqt. I don't know exactly how Leenock's going to face it, but if there's ever been a time to lift, it is right now. He's down 3-0 in this set. I'm going to try my best to not lose my train of thought. He's down 3-0 in this set, probably going to be 4-0, and that means he's going to be heading into almost an impossible mountain to climb. He will have to reverse sweep it if he loses this game.
Yeah.
He would have to win 5 in a row.
And after you're losing 4, that's going to be tricky. But remember, yesterday, Leenock was down 3-1 and made it into a 4-3 as well.
That's true. Yeah, he's had a couple of pretty big wins, actually, where he has reverse swept. I think there was a series that he played against Viper where he reverse swept him. It was quite a long one as well. So we'll have to see how he looks to play it. But yeah, Dry Arabia, it's going to be Delhi up against the Abbasid Dynasty.
Wait, Leenock? No, I'm confused with the 4-3. No, that was the quarterfinals. Where Leenock came back 4-3, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because he played against MarineLorD, and that was a pretty clean 4-1.
Yeah, very, very clean game. Yeah, beautiful series there. But I guess at this point, Beastie probably be a little bit happy that he's up against Leenock today. He's doing very well so far, 3-0. Obviously, Leenock knocking him out definitely took off a lot of the potential threat that came through from MarineLorD there as well. Crazy. And so many people saw how dominant he was. Like 5-0 in sets, 15-3 in maps, and suddenly he drops down 4-1 against a single player. Leenock in absolute prime shape yesterday, a crazy performance, and he is looking to repeat such a performance again.
Down 3-0 in those. Beastyqt looking incredibly strong. And as you can see, APM earlier, as mentioned, pretty damn high for Leenock. Beastyqt, that's our man, leading 3-0.
Here he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 4 in the grand final of N4C, the $100,000 Age of Empires 4 tournament. Spawning in the east side of the map, playing in the color blue. On the Delhi Sultanate, we've got Beastyqt.
Instant mosque from him, as we can see, instantly going in with those upgrades, and also the upgrades here in the mill. Wheelbarrow.
Going off the straggler tree as well, so not looking for the lumber camp that we do typically see, and has just stuck with those very close core buildings to his base.
And then we have for Leenock with the Abbasid dynasty here, also going for berries to begin with. Both players only with the one scout as the opening.
Yeah, so this is really the time right now for Leenock to shine. Obviously, he's still got one more potential loss that he could deal with. This is a best-of-9 series, so it means that players have to reach those 5 points. So Beastie right now sitting on 3 out of those 5. Obviously, with the Delhi here, it almost feels like it's going to be a guaranteed 4. But in saying that, it's not like the Delhi have won every single game they've played. In fact, losing the last game up against Beastyqt's English.
A balance idea just came up with. What do you think about the first mosque not giving you a scholar?
Design. You know, you'd forward that to the developers and they'd be like, it doesn't work because of the design. Like it doesn't work with the design of the Civ. They'd look to do something else. I think that's a really core component of their design.
Damn, those people are fast on the keyboard. Now upping towards the field edge here. Mr. Leenock goes for the stragglers, and well, all looks pretty solid. Sheep amount quite nice as well. Not a lot of scouting of the opponent yet, and now goes for the lumber camp. What are the openings here? Do we see stable from Abbasid?
Yeah, a little bit curious of the openings. We could potentially see the stable coming out. Delhi a little bit more prone to going the barracks. Always great to drop that down in transition. And pop that scholar in there as quickly as possible. You can really start to pump out those spears. Got to be careful, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Leenock head down towards his enemy's base and try and work out exactly what he's got going on down there.
Okay, so no big surprises in the early game so far. We see the defensive resources here quite a bit. Still keeps 3 on gold. Obviously wants to collect up to 125 there, Mr. Leenock. And did he just research? Oh yeah, he went for wheelbarrow, Leenock.
Yeah, interesting build order here. So might be looking to go for that early stable. We can see he did start on berries. So opening up with the I guess the standard mill these days, but we do see sometimes players avoid that mill. Classic Don Artie build order. He'd love to do that without the mill and would just use the sheep, but a lot of sheep back there for him as well.
Okay, well, obviously both players heavily going onto the berries for now, so could fall back onto some safe food next to the town center if we ever get into the spot that we are pushed away from the berries or got all of them done. Now the barracks opening here by Beastyqt. Maybe some spearmen, maybe trying to wall in those sacred sites.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So obviously that Dome of the Faith going to be coming up. He'll be dropping out lots of scholars, and he wants to go and capture those sacred sites. If we take a look at the map, it's not a terrible spawn for him. It looks pretty even with regard to the sacred sites. Very central locations, and you'd expect that. Dry Arabia, a very standard map when it comes to those two. A couple wolves coming back here as well. I'm not sure exactly what that was all about. Might be forgetting the civvies up against.
Not really sure either. Maybe he just saw them, okay, they were between the sacred site and his base, and he wanted to have those spearmen come over without losing any HP. He wanted to send the scholars out without losing any HP.
Exactly it. Yep, 100%. Very well picked up there, nearly. But now we see Beastyqt adding in more scholars, obviously. Is he going for Sanctity? Where's that Sanctity? Hasn't picked it up just yet, so just got Piety. He's going to be going Piety into Sanctity. Now, keep in mind, he's up pretty quickly to the second age. Actually, oh, never mind, he wasn't even up yet to the second age. Look at that timing right there. He finishes both Efficient Production and Piety, ages up within a second of that finishing.
Yeah, that just shows you how advanced he is with the build orders. Now we see the barracks after the archery range on the side of Leenock here, who's playing the Abbasid dynasty. Still the big questions what the army composition is going to be, and look at that! Camel Archer.
Yeah,
Leenock.
interesting. So we could be seeing a cavalry composition come out for him. We have seen this played to quite success. MarineLorD in particular, a big fan of going for the Horseman and Camel Archer, but it looks like it is going to be Spearman coming out today, so looking to be quite preventative up against those potential cavalry openings.
More upgrades obviously coming in. Now second Scholar, and we see another Archer range. So potentially 1-1-1 here from both sides.
Yeah, and when it comes to 1-1-1, typically you'd expect Delhi to win. Just simply because not only do they have those sacred sites that they can grab, but they've got those free economic techs. So not only do they avoid spending resources on those techs, which they can then turn into units, but they then get those techs for free, and then can turn those extra resources they're getting from holding the techs into more units. And it just begins to trickle and trickle and trickle, and then they capture the sacred sites, and it's a good game well played.
Yeah, also all the upgrades, right? If you want to go for all of them, if you go for 3 different unit types, you need so many upgrades. If you're fighting against 3 different unit types, you need all the upgrades basically, and that's just so much better for Delhi here. Now some pressure at the front. So far, no real answer to Camel Archer though. Pushes the Delhi player away from berries. Leenock with a nice opening.
Yeah, nice little opening here with the Camel Archer, sensing that there might be a bit of an opening, and indeed there was. Beasty going to be trying his best to defend. We see him going for survival techniques into professional scouts as well. So curious, he has actually got horticulture in on the way as well, so probably going to be looking to pick that one up first. But yeah, very nice opening from him here. We can see the military mass beginning to build from Beastyqt at this point, but he's going to need a few more scholars out. He's probably going to be looking to capture all 3 of those sacred sites at the same time.
Okay, textiles even for Beastyqt here as well. Wants to make sure that his raiding won't be that threatened, or at least like the raiding of Leenock won't be that lethal. And it's quite interesting. It just feels like Leenock needs to make something happen, right?
Little bit of a mistake potentially coming out right now from Beasty, losing one of the archers. Second archer might potentially be going down here. You can see the horseman moving up on top of those archers, getting some awesome damage there. Camel Archer is going to be moving up towards that north position. Going to be chasing down a scholar. There's a spearman out here as well, but it's not going to be enough to defend against these Camel Archers. These guys do so much damage against spears.
Oh yeah, indeed. Plus 20 damage, and they have 10 neutral damage, or like damage on their own already. Now Horseman though will scare those away. The other 2 Horsemen of Leenock ran into the town center. Quite some losses. Now even House behind this. Leenock's macro not 100% on point.
Yeah, Leenock got to be careful in this position. You can see a spear coming out. Archer on the back line. He's doing a decent job of microing back those low health camels. And now some more horsemen going to be coming in. I think these 2 ones were the ones that dived underneath the town center a bit earlier. Scholars heading out on the map as well. You can see that Beasty is intent on grabbing these sacred sites. A mistake that Leenock did make. Beasty definitely not intent on making this game.
Let's take a look. Horseman still trying to jump onto those archers. I don't think that Spearman Edition would really do a lot right now for Beastyqt, and that's why I would probably love to see some more horsemen out by Leenock here.
Yeah, definitely seems like the composition not working out for Leenock right now. So many horsemen out on this map. Beastyqt looking very strong. Sacred Site to the south getting captured up. More scholars moving out. They got to be careful not to get picked off. You see the Camel Archers doing so well to take them down, trying their best to focus down that scholar. Walks away with a couple of health points on it left. If he didn't have the piety upgrade, I don't think he would be surviving today.
Yeah, absolutely not. And this is tricky now. What's the transition going to be? Do you want to stay like this? Leenock actually goes for a second town center, and I have to question that, because that will take pressure off the center and will allow Beastyqt to get control over most likely 2 sacred sites.
The issue is if he doesn't go for the second town center, then he doesn't have a victory condition, because Beasty's always going to be 2 steps ahead of him. He's going to have access to those sacred sites. He's going to have those technologies as well. So that's why it's important that he gets that down. But the question is whether it was the right time. That is really the big question. Now you can see the sacred site up towards the north was getting captured. Nice little job up towards this position of taking out the monk. It's going to be running not very far before it dies.
And that one doesn't need to be controlled. Just neutral there, so it's 1 sacred site right now for Beastyqt. Military-wise, looking pretty good for him. Look at that, close to double the count.
Yeah, this is exactly where the Delhi come online. They've captured their first sacred site. The second one's now coming through. The third one is where they've got their eyes set. You can see the forces of the Delhi really beginning to build now. Up to 28 military population, only 14 for Leenock.
Now Blacksmith in the back. Leenock tries to go for some upgrades himself. Normally he wants to outmass, but that's going to be a tricky thing. 3 villagers ahead. Remember, Leenock unbeaten with Abbasid 4-0 before this game started.
That's a really good point. Beasty, on the other hand, very competent when it comes to the Delhi Sultanate. So I'm curious to see how this game's going to continue to unfold. We now see the Sacred Site up towards the north being captured. Not a lot of units up here to contest against it.
What are those villagers up to? Maybe a tower? Did they really want to go for the berries there? I didn't really see the mill. Okay, now coming down there makes lots of sense. Tries to get some more control, tries to expand and increase his food economy, but obviously easy to raid that area.
Yeah, now we see some walls coming down on this southern Sacred Site. Moving towards the Sacred Site of the north. It looks like he's going to be able to once again pick up this Scholar before the Sacred Site gets captured. You can see the unit standing on top of it, trying to prevent it from falling down, but it doesn't even matter because that Scholar is down and out. He could turn around and probably fight this position. He does have the camels in advantage, but it looks like he's just going to be falling back towards his base. Not looking good for Leenock right now.
Oh, and Leenock actually will see that Beastyqt is scouted this top area as well, so Horseman could find a good kill, a good spot to raid at the berries there, and that's indeed where we will see those Horsemen go.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Leenock. I'd love to take a look and see Beastie's base because he's just pumping out these horsemen like absolute madman. And look at all the villagers on those berries as well. Very open. You see the horsemen moving around. Going to be able to take out that camel. And this is part of the reason why camels at this point in time aren't the strongest. And now moving in, he's got the scholars forward as well. Not forgetting about those bad boys. Obviously, keep in mind, can't grab that extra healing buff that we do see the Delhi have access to. It has been banned out this tournament, but he's looking very strong as he begins to push in. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a ram getting dropped down in the next minute or two.
Uh-oh, and Leenock, yeah, he has the village advantage, but those villagers at the top likely to all fall here, completely unprotected and so far away from home. I think soon we will see Beastie having the advantage there. Now the House of Learning trying to make something happen, but so much army on the field by Beastyqt.
Beastie just putting on an absolute clinic today. Leenock obviously dropping down that Sacred Site, or rather that second town center, but now losing out all of those villages that he had made in advantage. Sacred Site victory coming through for Beastyqt. He's got his villages, he's got all of his technologies researched. He is now on 3 Sacred Sites.
Damn, Delhi are strong. Beastyqt is strong. Sacred Sites, yeah, 2 of them, 1 of them neutralized, but that's so much army out of position now as well. Not really sure if those villagers ever made it home. And Leenock, yeah, he has a small advantage, but so far away from Castle Age as well.
Yeah, this is so tough for him. You can see he's still got quite a distance before he's able to get up. When this Castle Age comes through from Beastyqt, I don't know how Leenock is going to be able to hold. Castle Age coming through, we'll look towards Leenock. And Leenock, a little bit of an esports head movement right there. Did you see that one, nearly? Oh, you hate to see it. You really hate to see it. Falling back towards his Sacred Site. It's not looking good for Leenock.
Damn, Beastyqt on point today. Look at that. All the upgrades are coming in here as well. Reclaims that Sacred Site. Soon we'll have 3. The map is so incredibly open. And Leenock, yeah, he still has some choices of good maps after this one. But 4-0 down would be horrible for him. Did I see a 3rd town center? Is he on 3 TCs here?
No way. Oh, he is on 3 TCs?
Oh, yes way.
All right, maybe there's a chance. When there's a will, there's a way. Look, in this situation, you're so far behind, you got to start throwing out your Hail Marys, and this is exactly what Leenock is doing. So he's hoping that he's able to stay alive for at least the next 3 to 4 minutes and build up a bit of an economic bank. He's going to be looking towards his enemy's base, try and put his attention towards there, but villagers, once again, on the gold mine, going to be going down here, Nilly.
Finding some more kills, just sent those villagers in, didn't even drop off a full cycle there. Spearman for the defense obviously will do nothing, and Archer helping out, but military-wise, it's just looking like so much control here for Beastyqt.
Farm's going to be coming down for Leenock. He's transitioning at this point, having a bit of a difficult time. Nice little pick up with the villagers here. They were heading out to... I don't even know what they were heading out to, but they were
there probably at the left-hand side. Indeed, that's where they wanted to go. That was an ambitious berry patch, though.
Yeah, that was very curious. Interesting. Strategy. Got picked up in the middle. Could have been really bad there for Leenock if those berries did get taken. But yeah, Beastie getting punished severely for that. Now going to be behind in villages by 18 at this point in time. So nice little villager lead at the moment for Leenock. Obviously, with Beastie, he's up in the 3rd age. Now getting those 2nd-tier economic technologies. Also has the 3 Sacred Sites, or 2 Sacred Sites.
Archer upgrade, Spearman upgrade, and goes for some Elephant here as well. 4 scholars in the queue. Beastyqt is... yeah, production is just out of this world, while we see poor Leenock being forced to farm that early in the game.
Yeah, you never want to be in a position like this farming. It feels terrible because you're investing all of these wood resources into those farms. You can see he's got berries up towards the north, berries down towards the south, but just really unable to get onto them. Doesn't have the map control, and it's so hard going up against the Delhi. Look at this! So cheeky from Beastyqt, dropping down an outpost up here, literally taking the resources out of Leenock's bowl.
And Horsemen are coming in again. Already found some kills earlier. Now back at the goat on those villagers. Some of them should be low HP. Instant reaction by Leenock, though.
Leenock's so quick on these reactions. Now going to be moving forward with a bit of military. No villagers actually go down, so great job in protecting those, keeping them alive. Berry villagers going to be moving in as well. It's not looking pretty right now for Leenock. Beasty is absolutely pushing in, and he looks quite intent. Keep in mind, he's playing the deli. He's going to be able to get those battering ram downs very quickly. This is tough for Leenock. How does he hold?
I don't know. Holding is maybe an option still, right? Has the town centers, has quite some villager numbers, but will stay in feudal age. It will be so tricky. Is flirting with castle age now, but that's can't be increased. The speed of advancing to the next age can't be increased by Abbasid Dynasty. Has to use the House of Wisdom there. Still 1 minute 45 seconds.
Yeah, this is an interesting position because he's not too far behind when it comes to population. He's up on villager count by a significant amount, about 28 villagers up. Obviously, when it comes to economy, it's not pretty, but realistically, he might be okay. If he gets up to castle, which he's doing, if he manages to hold, gets a mangonel or two out, it could be bad news for Beasty.
Yeah, actually the defense could be a thing, right? But spearman count is only at 2. I think he needs more spearmen to really deal with those elephants. Sacred Side counter now started as well. So Beastyqt gets another win condition in that regard.
He's got 8 archers, so if he needs to make these siege units, he's going to be able to do it. He's got a bit of infantry on the field, and now we see those relics getting captured by Beastyqt.
That's quite some nice stuff behind the scenes there for sure. More elephants on the way, blacksmith working as well, and... yeah.
Second town center for Beasty needs to... Wololo somewhere. Wololo. It's
tries to debate it. No.
a preemptive Wololo potentially. Just wants to protect his bro. I'd love to see... Beasty right now needs to get a second town center up. Is he in the process of doing that? Is he still thinking about it?
I would be surprised. I think he is more of the guy that probably wants to go for the push. Now, ooh, another attack at the gold. Villagers have to run. This is so ugly for Leenock. He doesn't have a safe gold.
Yeah, this is really bad for him. He's really getting put back into that corner. Up towards the north, it doesn't look like there's too much either. Mainly down to the south, but obviously Beasty has control down there as well. He's all over the map. Raids coming through now on this mill in the center of the map. You can see the elephant getting stuck in a bit of a weird position, but look how many resources Leenock's got. He's got enough for 3 mangonels.
Yeah, and that's a great army, right?
Yep.
Mass spearmen, mass mangonel. Now
Yep.
goes for the upgrade that we research everything 30% cheaper.
Yeah, knowledge of preservation, preservation of knowledge rather, a very good technology. And do we see mangonels coming down? It looks like a little bit of a ram dance going down. It's going to be the second mangonel that gets placed. He's got enough almost for that third one as well, and that's the critical mass. If he can get to 3 mangonels, he can really hold on.
Problem is, Leenock, without any gold income, right, needs to use the market to even afford the second mangonel.
Yeah, that's a really good point. He finds it so difficult. He's got a little bit of space now. Beasty's he's backed off a bit, giving him a bit of respect. But now those villagers down towards the south got to be careful.
Equal population?
Wow, that's a really good point. Look at the villagers, 33 villager difference between these two. Now, obviously, the relics still in Beasty's hands as well. So he's sitting on about, how much, 450 plus, 850 passive gold income at the moment.
Crazy.
How many villagers does that work out to be? About 20, 21?
850 is 21.25.
There you go.
Without upgrades.
Yeah,
but he has upgrades, so it's fewer.
So it's fewer. So it is impressive math coming out there from Nilly. You're not typically known as the math guy, but now those elephants going to be moving in towards the mangonels, the direct counter, it seems, to those units. But decent mass starting to build up. Beasty once again taking out villagers of his enemy. 21 villager difference at this point in time, but look at the difference in population between these two guys with regard to the military. He's going to be rushing this keep up, but at the same time, the mangonel's firing off on the back line. The men-at-arms going to be coming in. Runs a nice little screen here on the front line. He's got spears, he's got archers. He needs to make sure he's got villagers in there to repair those mangonels. At the same time, look at the scholars just healing up on that back line.
Men-at-arms all dying at the front. Mangonel still alive, but we obviously find some villager kills. Leenock was heavily ahead. Look at that. Villagers now basically even.
Yeah, big misplay right here from Leenock. He manages to get the keep up, but at the same time loses so many villagers. Keep in mind, he's got the 3 TC, so if it comes down to it, he's going to be able to produce lots of villagers, but it's not pretty.
Did he just lose 30 villagers? Leenock down to 56 here. Yeah, he gets some control, but look at how exposed that woodline is as well.
Yeah, this isn't good right now for Leenock. That keep goes up on the front line as well for Beasty. He's going to be really happy with this boiling oil slowly but steadily coming in, and Beasty in prime position right now.
Oh, look at that. Could just easily go over there with some of the elephants, snag some villagers, then move back to the healing position here for himself. But feels like, okay, I can kill those villagers later as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. He's so far ahead at this point in time. Mangonel's going to be moving down. Need to see a trebuchet from Leenock, but it's going to mean at least one Siege Workshop needs to come out, and he needs to start working on that. Now we've got the counter Siege Workshops coming down for Beastyqt in this position. He's going to be looking to fire off with a couple Mangonels towards these units before they manage to escape. He's now turning his attention, but he's left it a little bit too late.
Yeah, Beasty. Just so good in his macro and pulled back. Now the elephants are going in again, just trying to find some villager kills, then go back, go for some healing. That's guaranteed damage without any losses for him, because he can heal them up.
Yeah, Beasty looking so strong. Keep in mind, this is a best of 9, so it means the player first to get to 5 points wins. Beasty currently sitting 3-0. If he wins this game 4-0, he will be on match point, and Leenock will have to win 5 games straight to even have a chance.
Okay, at least one tower elephant goes down, so reasonable defense. Obviously those elephants without animation cancelling, not that crazy against buildings anymore.
Not particularly busted anymore. With the animation cancelling, you could get, I think it was 5 times the damage on buildings.
Something like that.
It got pretty crazy, but not going to be the case anymore. I know Salami a bit sad that is not going to be happening, but look at the Scholars just coming out non-stop. He's got 3 in the queue right now, and he is not messing around. He is making these for days.
Yeah, and look at all those walls. He's cornering. Look at that! Full control. He like restricts him to like a quarter or even less of the map.
Yeah, he's playing it really well. Beasty looking so fearsome right now. Elephant's going to continue moving up, and such a great composition that he's got here. Just a couple archers out on that wood line as well, looking to continue healing up these elephants. And now the mass really starting to build for Leenock. He's got to be careful of it. These units, they're very strong, very potent. Looking to actually put a keep up towards this northern position, trying to break through here. Got to be careful. Mangonels need to unfire. They're not doing so. Mangonels, you got to wake up, Mangonels. What are you guys doing? Wake up, fellas. They turn around. It's not looking pretty, Nilly.
Uh-oh, not really firing indeed. Scholars now to the front, could take some fights, are running away because now the Springles are coming in, and those elephants completely uncontested. So many spearmen are going down, and then the elephants become so much better.
Yeah, we can see the Mangonels having to run back, and now more elephants coming in. If you wanted to see elephants, then you got it, because Delhi are coming out, and there are so many elephants here for Beastyqt.
Oh, what a beautiful push by him again. Yeah, some Scholars went down, but the Springles after this one just helped out so much with all the Mangonels. That's why they were never saved. Can I shoot here? They didn't really want to die.
Yeah, that was exactly it. They didn't want to die, but 5 relics there for Beastyqt in a single mosque. He's looking incredible at this point in time, pulling ahead on the village account as well. Still looks like just that one town center, as you suggested, going to be coming out for him, so not thinking about that second one just yet. Do we see village fortresses coming out just yet for Beasty?
I don't really think he needs it. Look at that, 3 minutes 45 seconds. The counter there, and where does Leenock even try to squeeze through? Where does he want to go? He needs to get a unit there. This is all walled off.
This is so perfectly played by Beastyqt. He's done such a great job throughout this game. Hasn't made a mistake. And I mean, that's really been the highlight of this series, not making a single mistake, a very methodical playstyle from him. And he's just had better Civ matchups throughout the day. So unfortunate for Leenock, been a bit outplayed when it comes to that extent. But now we see him sitting in the 4th game up against the Delhi. He's trying his best now as that keep going to be going down. Elephants working to do their magic. Springles on the back line preventing any siege from coming out and showing their faces. It's not going to be pretty here for Leenock. It's really not looking good.
Oh, the first dong is coming in, only 3 minutes, and Leenock realizes, damn, it's not looking good for me. You will go up 4-0. Beastyqt looking incredibly strong.
It's got to be the difference is the chocolate milk, I feel. Beasty's had the chocolate milk throughout this series. Leenock on the other side, no chocolate milk. So really begs the question, is it the next potential doping drug that gets banned out, the chocolate milk?
We will look into that together with the Esport Foundation against doping. It looks a bit too strong right now.
It looks very strong. Chocolate milk probably going to have to get banned out in the next tournament, I suspect. But
chocolate milk.
Game 4 going over to Beastyqt as well. A lot of people in the chat right now, big fans of Beasty. You can see them all coming out of the woodworks. They were a bit quiet earlier. Leenock, obviously, a fierce opponent, taking out MarineLorD yesterday. But Beasty looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, shockingly strong. Shockingly strong. Leenock actually jumped from being, okay, you made it to the semifinals, congrats, sadly got MarineLorD, to probably the favorite yesterday evening. And suddenly, Beastyqt is putting on this performance.
It's incredible. I mean, as he said before this, he sat down for a few hours and did the math. He had his pen, his paper out, his notepad, everything. And he said, I know exactly what civ he's going to pick on every single map and the order that it comes out just from that single map that was drawn. So really well played to Beasty up until this point. So everything, all of the research has paid off. He's obviously played incredibly well. No mistakes coming out from him. But we've got game 5. Map is Hill and Dale.
And I don't understand that. So quick reminder, everyone. We have 7 maps, and then each player gets an extra home map to play it twice, basically. And Leenock had the chance to pick 4 maps, can pick Lipany twice, and didn't pick it even once. What's going on?
Does he understand that? Like, because it might have been a ban. Like, maybe he thought he banned Lipany.
No, but how do you ban out of 7? Like, I think he understood.
Okay, all right.
I'm pretty sure he understood, yeah.
Well, he's going to be picking the Holy Roman Empire here, going up against the Mongols of Beasty. And once again, this could be a matchup that Beasty destroys. I mean, Mongols up against Holy Roman Empire, it's a very favorable matchup for the Mongols. Mongols obviously not being particularly successful this tournament. Holy Roman Empire, similar run-of-the-mill at the moment.
I've seen Mongols win today.
Yeah, we have seen... Did we? Oh, no, we didn't. I don't remember seeing any Mongols win. Mongols are a civ that is struggling at the moment throughout the tournament, not including any show matches.
Okay.
Let's not talk about it. Don't talk about the show match.
Okay, we will need to think about scenarios. Leenock against Viper, I think, picked Mongols as well on Hill and Dale, right? I think it went into Mongol Mirror, if I remember correctly, because both wanted to snipe HRE there.
Yep.
And both wanted to go for, the tricky moves. Now we see Beastyqt getting Mongols. Leenock with HRE. Why are Mongols so good against HRE?
Their windows are typically very good. HRE have a bit of difficulty in dealing with the early push that comes in. An outpost or two near that Archon Chapel. It's going to prevent them from gathering up the extra strong resources. Typically, they don't want to move away from that Archon because it's buffing up all the villages around there. But if you put an outpost on those immediate resources, it means you've got to move your villagers out of that area, and it means that you're not getting that bonus. So that is the big issue that the HRE is going to be facing up against the Mongols.
Okay. Is there a chance, is there a world in which we wall that early that we are walled before the tower rush comes in and try to play a fast castle behind walls?
No, because the Mongol Khan will get to the base and will stop the walls from going up.
Okay, I can see that.
And then it will just delay until the villagers get there. You could even put a sheep on there and kill the sheep yourself so he can't wall over the top of it. And then the villager comes through, then the spears come through, and then the GG gets typed.
Ah, that's pretty ugly. Also, next step, is there a way to go for Dark Age Men-at-Arms for HRE?
No.
They only have Feudal Age Men-at-Arms, right?
correct.
That's English. Okay, so...
It's going to be a curious...
Spearman with the Prelate heal?
Perhaps. I mean, we're at the drawing board right now, and that's typically not where you want to be when you're down 4-0 in a set playing in a $100,000 tournament. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 5 of your grand final for N4C. Beastyqt spawns up in the north side of the map with an absolutely beautiful spawn here. He is sitting right in the pocket. He's got his gold mine. He's got his wood line. He's a happy camper.
And it's the 8k gold mine as well, right?
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of the game. Didn't he have such a map against VortiX?
On King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
he
we had the VortiX push then, right?
Yeah.
And Beastyqt, I think that was against French. Faced the all-in Feudal Age, defended quite nicely there, stepped it out next to his gold mine. Let's see if we will see something similar here. Certainly pretty easy to get over to the other side, but his over typically should be relatively exposed.
That's a really good point. Spawning in on the south side of the map, we've got Leenock. He's playing in the red. Going to be playing the Holy Roman Empire here. I'd love to take a look at the map right now, Nilly, and see what those relics look like. So we've got one safe one down to the south for Leenock. Up towards the north over on the left-hand side, you can see that there's another safe one there for Leenock, and at the same time there's 3 up in this central location, in this dale.
Yeah, looks a bit like Orion. You know, the star sign. The 3 in the center. Cut off a bit. Well, okay, maybe not. And you're not into astronomy?
No, not really. I'm more into astrology. You said Orion,
Nice.
and I was like, oh, I think it looks a bit like a Leo. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So we're making just random stuff up. Thank you for that. And first villager is being sent to the front, so we are expecting that we also have a barracks next to the ovo there. And we see the early walls. Pretty easy wall off here.
He will be happy with this, and the Uvu is relatively close to the town center. That obviously gets scouted out, so he knows this is on the way, but that wall going to get up, and a little bit of a mistake by Beasty in not being present at that entrance. We'll have a look and see whether a chop comes through, though, because that is always something that to be aware of. So he might look to do a reactive wall here. I'm curious to see just towards the south side here.
Look at that, goes for the tree. We need to wall around that one. Leenock should see it, has the villager around. Obviously not always easy to wall this area.
Is he chopping down? It looked like Leenock had his own lumber out, or lumberjack out. Needs to make sure he doesn't wall his villager in here. Okay, manages to get through, gets the wall up. Double spear is going to be coming through now. Going to be able to secure this position, but obviously going to need to keep walling as well. Now we see the Khan moving around the back as well. Leenock, I mean, he's reacted to this well. He's very fortunate that he's got such a short or shallow point. Do we see that villager moving? We see that villager moving. So he's going to be looking to come in at a different angle now.
Okay, 4 spearmen coming over, but obviously Leenock will be up to fuel age way earlier. And now the question, maybe the barracks, maybe 2 men-at-arms will deal with this one pretty easily. Obviously the Khan is still good against those men-at-arms, but the villager can't do much, the spearmen can't do much, and you can heal those men-at-arms with the prelate later.
Yeah, we take a look now at Beastyqt's perspective. You can see that he's just running around. He's got a wolf trailing him at this point in time. Took out a deer as well. It was right on the edge of the map. That's why he's picked that one off there, because he can push it out a bit further. Causes a little bit of an issue. And you can see he's running in now, just being annoying here, taking out these deer, just being very cheeky.
Pushes them away to decrease the efficiency of a potential mill later on. Crazy move.
Yes, that is the level that this guy is thinking at. So it just comes very naturally to him. But you see that Archon Chapel coming down, villager making his way around and almost up to the second age. I'll expect that we probably see some sort of archer play coming out from him, but I'm curious to see what the response is going to be with Leenock here.
Okay, spearman split now, and Leenock on the other side, still a bit away from clicking up, has enough wood for a defensive tower if he wanted to. Now waited a bit for it. Oh, he doesn't know if he wants to build it or not.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking about it. You could see it would be a nice little spot up towards the north side of that Archon Chapel. This is a counterplay. He's going for walls here. It's a little bit too late, though. There's no way that wall gets up, so very hopeful wall. But needs to be careful here. We mentioned earlier that if you just get one single attack on that gold mine, that it is going to be going over towards the favor of the enemy. And now we see an archery range coming down a little bit out of position, I'd say. He does look to cancel it. He's going to be moving it back a bit safer. But Outpost is going to go up on that western flank.
Oh, and HRE being forced into archers. Yeah, you will deal with those spearmen quite nicely. Yeah, you will deal with that villager, but you're not really scaling into the army that you want to go for. First villager now losing quite some HP. Will be tricky. Obviously, no way of healing him. And, okay. Leenock, if he saves those 2 scouts, has to be happy.
Yeah, we now see a second outpost coming up towards the north of that position. Leenock behind this, he is making archers, so he's got that barrack or that archery range up. But keep in mind, this is exactly what Beasty wants. He wants to force out these units. He knows that this is what his enemy is doing. But Leenock got to be careful here. We can see that that outpost is going to be firing upon that wood line. Probably needs to move over to the eastern wood line.
Let's take a look. I only think that that tower will get effective shots in once we have the Khan around. Khan lost some HP already. Scouts are trying to dive for it. Archer, is he trying to commit against the villager? Seems like the villager still had enough HP. Now coming in with the speed arrow.
Yeah, you can see that Archer probably going to be going down. He's going to be careful not to lose it. Looks like the outpost is going to be going up towards the north of that position, and it looks like an evacuation going to be happening of that wood line. Beasty obviously up to the second age. He knows that those arrow slits are going to be coming through shortly.
Will the Archon Chapel reach the right-hand side wood line?
It should.
I think it
Oh,
should.
it's so close.
But yeah, you can move your prelate there. You can build a second prelate. He's still reasonably on gold here. So I think it's yeah, he actually builds a second prelate. So all good.
Yeah, we can actually see he's gone for a stable here as well, so going to be looking to get out a few more horsemen to help defend. And you can see just how far those outposts are shooting. Are they going all the way? It looks like it's going to the lumber camp, yeah. Gosh, that does a lot of range, doesn't it? It's just absolutely huge. But now Leenock continuing to add in archers. He's already up to 4 archers, adds in 5. So we've seen players, Beasty in particular, defend with only 2 or 3 archers earlier tonight. But now look at this, more outposts coming up just absolutely everywhere. He's going to force him to make a battering ram, surely.
Wants to control the gold in the long run, wants to get some more vision there, and now the archers are coming in. I don't really like that one too much. Loses some HP, loses even the full archer, don't like that. And I think we need some healing with a prelate. I don't think those horsemen will achieve anything with Beastyqt being so compact.
Yeah, this is a really difficult spot for Leenock because we mentioned earlier that if the outposts do come up on the resources, that it's going to be so difficult to stop. The villager does go down, so he's prevented it from happening any further. But at the same time, he's forcing so much out. And look at Beasty's income at this point in time. He's sitting on 532 gold. He's got plenty of food in the bank. He's well on his way up to castle. Whereas Leenock, I mean, he's looking pretty similar. But the burden is definitely going to be on him to get control of those relics.
But honestly, Beastyqt doesn't really have that many units to contest those relics right now, right?
That's a good point. If he can get up to the castle age with the resources that he's got here, I mean, he's still 600 food away, but realistically, he should be fine because he can sneak the prelates out the front. He's got the gate there for it. You snag those 2 in the middle, and you're going to be absolutely fine. You've got that safe one down to the south, or you can take the one up to the north. They're both pretty safe. I think it should be okay. And even if he's only got 2 out of 5, it's still not terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even it will be like 2 for now, while the Khan is still annoying. That tower just helping out so much. And it feels like Leenock now evacuating from that front gold, goes for a further back one again. Obviously, that's without the Aachen Chapel, that's without a prelate. And what actually goes for the berries?
Yeah, not really having much of an option here. Would love to go for those deer, but obviously they got pushed out far away, and there was also the outpost that was down there preventing that from happening. But now we see a little bit of a distraction coming towards the base of Beastyqt. He's going to have a couple of spears that are moving out. Got to be so careful. That horseman picking a fight with the wrong guy.
Also spearmen just popping. We'll find some easy kills there as well. Archers there for the defense against the Khan. Khan's so annoying. Quite some nice play by Beastyqt. Both players now on the way to Castle Age. And the big question, do we get enough prelates out? Step it out, no surprise.
Yeah, Steppered out, going to be coming down here. Now, keep in mind, Beasty's going to need to drop down a prayer tent. Then he's also going to need to train his shaman. It's going to take time for him to do that. Whereas the prelates for Leenock are already out on the field. As soon as he hits up that 3rd age, he is going to be immediately picking up those relics.
Has 3 prelates out as well. Will still take quite some time, though. Let's take a look. Khan is pushed away. Do we maybe see a kill? No, can just run. No problem.
Yeah, but we see there's a couple units looping up towards the north. It looks like a horseman together with a couple scouts could potentially line up with this. You see them working their way towards it. Yeah, this could be it. They're coming in. It's classic, like a footy game right now. If anyone's watched Rugby Union or Rugby League, you can see the big shoulder about to come out. New Age begins, though. He's going to be buffed up with a little bit more health now and should be able to escape. You can see the horseman slowly but steadily. First relic gets picked up. Second relic in the middle of the map. We'll take a look at it. Was going over. Needs to do a bit of a wall of law.
Oh, is he though? Khan goes down. What's happening here? Why did the unit stop? Horseman stopped. Khan stopped. Some weird bug there at the right-hand side. Maybe the Khan died.
Khan died, but Beasty got up to the castle age at the same time. So a little bit of a weird graphical glitch that happens there. So, yeah, very, very rare to see that. But now Blacksmith coming down on the front line. And, I mean, Beasty felt like he did a lot of damage, but Leenock's picked up the relics. He's got 3 in his hands. Look at that.
Good for him. Good for him. And the horseman still protecting the dead body. The ghost of the Khan.
The ghost of the Khan. Ghost Khan. The scariest Khan in the West. Technically, he's in the East.
Yeah.
But that's his title. That's his title. Double stable coming out right now as well for Beastyqt.
Okay. Still, triple relic for HRE. Regn's Cathedral gives you 300 gold per minute per relic instead of the typical 100.
So what does Leenock need to do at this point in time? Number 1, needs to make sure he's got a safe food source, so needs to transition over onto farms. Number 2, needs to make sure he doesn't die. He has achieved the dream of the HRE. He has assembled the 3 legs of Exodia. that being the 3 relics. So now he just needs that chess piece, that final chess piece being the all-important Palace of Swabia. If he gets there, he's going to be looking incredibly likely to win this game.
Yeah, but he needs to wall. I think walls are needed now at the side. So easy to wall the bottom, not that easy to wall the left-hand side. Obviously would need to run through some towers. Now goes for some knights himself. Look at that army composition at the top. Scout, Prelate, Landsknecht, Horseman, Knight, Men-at-Arm, and all one of them.
It's a classic HRE build order, this one. It's the 1-1-1-1-1 build order. But Prelate looking to actually sneak around and grab that relic up towards the north. You can see it being guarded out there, but Leenock really not even just caring about the 3 relics. He wants all 5.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Also takes 2 away from the opponent. Now the spread there. And Leenock knows Beastyqt is coming in for an attack. Beastyqt needs to find some damage against 3 HRE relics.
Yeah, we can see a little bit of a split going on now, looking to wall up towards the south, but it might be a little bit too soon. Oh, he's gonna. Oh, he finds it.
He sees them.
Oh, he's gonna be able to pick up these villagers and take them out before that wall goes up. Very well played by Beastyqt, just spotting that out. Now the Lancer Knight comes out, trying to do some damage.
Okay, saves those villagers, at least one maybe, and could send them back. One Vololo at the right-hand side here, tries to get those 2 spearmen. Could be close, gets them!
He gets him. He's feeling good about himself. A little bit of a jog on right there. That Prelate, very happy. But now the flood begins. Beasty is pushing in with a lot of these military units at the same time. Look at the north spot. We've got so many of these Lancers beginning to rally in. Leenock's got to be scared of this.
Beasty is going to push. Leenock wants to force another game. If you want to give Leenock the support, if you want to see more games, this is the moment for you to spam some Neely energy for Leenock in the chat to support your man to give us another game.
You can do it, Leenock, I believe. You know, if there was a crowd here right now, I'm confident there'd be a nice little Korean section, and they would be together there with those little battens that they get, the air ones. They go, Leenock fighting! It would be happening right now, but there's no one else to do it for him. So we got to do it for him, Nilly. Come on, let me hear you say it.
You just did it, just played on repeat, and Knights over with the defense here. No villagers lost, actually went for some counter-attack. Gold villagers obviously exposed at the front. Town center there, but step redoubt. Well, pretty much at the front.
Yeah, it's an interesting position for Beasty. I don't know exactly how he'd be feeling about it. Obviously, he's got an opening towards this top side of the base, and he's going to look to try and abuse it. But now we see those units beginning to move in on the villagers on the mill. At the same time, he's kind of distracted towards the front. How many villagers are going down behind this? We see 38. He's managed to spot it, and now we're going to see him slowly but steadily look to try and do some damage on the front line. You can see them falling back towards the towns, and they're going to be firing off. The Landsknecht's in there doing a lot of damage there, Nelly.
Oh, but also falling to the town center fire, not really getting in there. Nice defense by Beastyqt. Still population lead for him. But as we said multiple times, we think 3 relics for HRE are roughly worth 22.5 villagers.
Yeah, very difficult to stop. But now we see that mass beginning to build some big swings coming in there from our two-handed horsemen. Horsemen? Handles. But yeah, now coming in with a pretty big raid there. 3 knights or 3 lancers looking to get in on that wood line. He's overchopped a little bit as well, so he might be able to find a nice exit out there as well. Bit of a screen coming in. He manages to defend it. He's got to be able to get out of there safely. So
That shows the overchop now, right? Might have been a small mistake there, potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point. He really needs to get a wall up on this north side. It's going to be hard for him to do that because of the outpost, but now we can see outposts coming across the field. And, I mean, Leenock at this point, he's down a little bit when it comes to military population, but he'd still be feeling really good about himself because he is transitioning into farms. You can see he's slowly but steadily getting this back up.
More barracks in the back, wants to go for some spearmen. That Khan still dead. Obviously, we have seen a second Khan there. Another ghost in the main army. Tries to run to the left-hand side. Leenock, he should not skip Castle Age. I think if he goes to him, there's a good way of dying.
Yep.
It's important that he keeps on building army.
Agreed. He needs to wall up at the front. Ideally, I would love to see more walls coming in from him. It's so important that he gets these walls in because Beastyqt, he plays exactly the same way as MarineLorD does. He loves to just go for this heavy cavalry style and really try and punish his opponent. We can see that now it looks like he's going to be cleaning up these outposts. Hopefully, once he does that, he'll be able to think about walling up that position up towards the north. But until that happens, it's always going to be be very open for Beasty.
Really important that he walled this one correctly. Lancers are coming to the next side. Now finally he can go back to his proper first wood line, but the tower is still shooting there.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that front gate. You can see those knights going to be working through it. A lot of health on that gate, but still probably not enough. Going to be going down within the next 20 seconds, I suspect. But we can see these units looping around. It's not looking good for Leenock at this point. Still a relatively even balance between these two, but now manages to find the wood line. It's not good. Oh, Jesus.
Knights on the wrong side, dealing with the tower there. They needed to protect those villagers, and they are going back to the wood line here. Still some losses, but look at that. More lancers are coming in here as well. Beastyqt is going for the kill. He wants the 5-0.
Yeah, but this could be really, really painful for him. He's going to be so careful. He's going to do this immaculately. If he misses any beat, he could potentially lose his entire army in a foul swing. But now we see these units on the wood line also coming out as well on the farms. Leenock going to be trying to hold on. He's down 10 villagers at this point in time, managing to get these lancers back on towards that wood line. He knows he needs to hold on at this point in time. He is down 4-0. This is the game point, match point. If he loses here, he goes home. He gets second place. He must fight.
You said 10 villagers behind. That was at the start of the raid. Now it's close to 20 villagers behind. 29 villagers only for Leenock here, 17 minutes into the game. Yeah, he defended against the raid. Yes, he will find a kill against the Khan, probably again, but he needs to rewall the front.
Yeah, it really comes down to getting these walls up. It's so important to control where the Mongol player is attacking from. We didn't actually hear that Khan go down. I'm not sure if it did go down. It's still... Oh, the Town Center, thank you. Thank you very much, Town Center. Doing what the melee units could not do.
I'm cheering for Leenock here. I want to see more games. I want to see him hold. I want to see that the 3 relics are carrying him. I want to see more home maps of Beastyqt, because from here on, it will be Beastyqt's home maps exclusively. Mongolian Heights, still double Lipany in the map pool here as well. More farms. I don't really like that we only have one single prelate. Would love to see more prelates in this farm area.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Typically, if you're going to put down your Archon Chapel, you'd love to have the farms going down right next to it. But now you saw a little bit of... Did he get that up? I don't know exactly what happened there. I think he got that wall up. He's now going to be looking to clean up these units as well. He's going to be working towards that position on the front at the same time, walling up on the back line. You can see the villager-on-villager action as well as he looks to get that up. But now we've got a knight coming out. He closes up this position, and I think he's going to be okay on that front. As long as he holds at the main gate, that is going to be the big key. But keep in mind, he's behind 20 villagers. He's got 3 relics in the bag. It's about the same.
Yeah. Kind of even economy right now, and if you do the math at the top, you might find similar numbers there. And Spearman needs to defend this area, though. It's still tough to reinforce or tough to wall.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of a mistake right there, leaving only, I mean, he probably had about 10 knights in that position. Needed to get them up towards the front so that this doesn't happen. A little bit of a run through. You can see him moving his spears as well as his lance connects through, but at the same time, they're going straight down towards that that area where all the farms are. And this is looking really bad, Nelly.
Oh, right now he's doing a okay-ish job of chasing those down. Nice split by Leenock. Easy to have misplaced knights here, but obviously those lancers will find some kills.
Yeah, Lance is getting a lot of kills now. He's down 22 villagers to his opponent. Not a lot of aggression coming out from Leenock, but he is slowly and steadily building up, and this is part of where the cleanup comes in. You can actually see the military difference right now beginning to build for Leenock. So if he is able to wall up, if he's able to prevent his enemy from coming into his base, and he's able to hold on, he can actually just push in, go all in right now. But you can see, look at the resources gathered right now for Leenock. He is thinking about imping here.
I think he just cancelled lots of units, right? Maybe a rewall there. No, lancers are coming over, trying to stop that. Sends the villager back, tries to rewall a bit further forward, but towers should deny that. But I think even if the lancers are breaking at the bottom, it's not enough units. Only 11 military on the field against 25.
Yeah, Leenock looking pretty strong here. He's going to be cleaning up these lancers once again and just under attack from all angles. Needs to get villagers out onto these extremities, try and heal them up, repair them, throw a gate on top of the damaged ones. And now we see walls coming down at the front. Palace of Swabia comes through. If he gets this up, that's the chess piece. And it's really important. It's so hard to lose the game once you've got that Swabia up, but you can't do it from a terrible position. We can see right now he's half the villagers of his opponent. I don't know if he's going to be able to do this one.
Oh, bad position for sure. Terrible position? Probably not, right? Still 3 relics, somewhat walled. Yeah, he will now face Sacred Site Control. 2 relics for Beastyqt as well, so he's setting himself up reasonably well, but we still feel HRE should be superior on this spot.
Well, the villager printer is out, Nilly, and you know what time it is.
Look at the farm. Look at the farm, Eco. There's nothing.
There's nothing. Doesn't need to be anything because it's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the printer to begin.
With what food? With what food?
You don't need food to make villages as the Holy Roman Empire. I think it's like, what is it? 10 food or something? A pop? 12 pop?
12 and a half, indeed. It shows 12, but a quarter of the cost, a quarter of the time, so you can catch up very, very easily. You need to have the food eco at one point, though. I think Leenock should use the market a bit more.
Yeah, look how much he just bought a whole bunch of resources there with his gold. He's sitting on 1,500 at the moment, a very safe 900 gold a minute flat, denying these sacred sites now, preventing his enemy from building up. Has he secured his walls all over his base? Let's take a look. Down towards the south, he's repaired this wall. Towards the top, it's healing.
Okay.
And towards the front, it looks like he's got it up.
I think so as well. Now goes for Elite Knights. That could be pretty crazy. Might find some kills. Military-wise, he got at least double attack, some armor as well. Beastyqt's side mainly attack. One armor against ranged units. Wanted to raid a bit more. Tries to find another angle. This could be pretty good for Leenock.
It's such a struggle for him. And if there's any game to pull, it is right now.
How is the army there? What is that game sense by Beastyqt?
How does he know this? He must have spotted it coming through from the line of sight that he's got from the outpost. So manages to outpost up this entire map right now. He's looking incredibly strong and once again working towards this position on the south. I'm starting to feel like he might need to double wall that. There's just so many units. We see the Khan popping off the arrow. He's avoiding the fight and typically wants to avoid this fight. You can see he's got the elite upgrade coming through for his knights. You want to wait until you've got those elite knights. Now units moving down towards this southern position, making sure to cover and the elite knights come through.
How is Beastyqt floating 3k gold? Yeah, I complimented him for getting all those neutral gold income in the way that he goes for the sacred sites, went for the double relics as well. But now I think he needs to use the market as well. Could be thinking about imping.
Could be thinking about imping. Typically, Mongol late game, quite strong. Holy Roman Empire, still pretty strong. You can see he's working towards that village account as well. Closing the gap, a little bit of a sit back right there from Beastyqt. He's adjusting himself, getting comfortable for the late game. University going to be coming down, so I'd expect that we might even see some elite Landsconnects coming out very shortly, Nilly.
Well, upgrades are coming in, so indeed that's the plan. Tries to give them some more HP there as well. Leenock, well, does quite a good job of keeping his gold relatively low. Obviously, it's impossible to always keep it at 0. Would love to see a bit more VQ. Crossbow now by Beastyqt.
Oh, don't know how I feel about that. It's always going to be tough fighting into these units, especially with the Landsconnects. That's really the difficult part to deal with. But now these spears coming from behind, actually going to be able to deal very effectively with these lances. Great little pickup here from our Korean star. Leenock trying his best. He's currently down 4-0 in this set. He needs to win this game. If he loses this game, he is out. He is down. He is done. And it wasn't looking pretty at the beginning of the game. For the first 20 minutes, he had units constantly in his base. Now he's finally made it through to Imperial. He's finally got that Palace of Swabia, that villager printer, and it's doing work. You can see he's managed to climb back to within 5 villages of his enemy.
And Step Out now denied, all the villagers running around, now trying to find a better angle. Spearman actually will deal with this one quite nicely. Beastyqt maybe with a misstep. Those elite knights just running around might find some more kills. Shouldn't really take the fight against the Spearman though.
Yeah, this is not the best fight. Obviously, he's got elite units, but ideally, you still want to avoid fighting against your counter. He manages once again to chase away some units and slowly but steadily cleans up the line of sight out for Beastie. I'd love to take a look from his perspective and just see exactly what he sees because he's got so many outposts all over this map, just giving him complete line of sight and now heading up to Imp himself.
Beastyqt, and what is he going for? Probably wants to increase his stone income there and wants to go wild, wants to put towers all on over the map and wants to have all of them with some bombard emplacements.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he's also extending his YAM network out over the entire map, so he's able to chase down these units non-stop. You can see the spears actually very successfully chasing down these knights, and that's not something that's typical.
Leenock had 76 villagers, now +6. Pretty crazy job done by the Palace of Swabia. Pretty crazy job done by Leenock. And he is setting himself up for quite some elite Landsknecht. But 18 crossbowmen on the field. If we get an upgrade there for Beastyqt, he might actually take pretty reasonable fights.
Bombard now coming out for Leenock. This is really key because it's going to allow him to start pushing out safely. Give him a little bit of a playing field that's safety. that's safe. If you've come from StarCraft 2, like Beasty has, you'll be familiar with the Zerg. They love to put this creep down, extend it over the map. It increases their speed, increases their presence. And it's the exact same with Mongols. We see the way they extend their YAM network out over across the map, giving them this extra speed boost. And Beasty is going to be struggling because that Bombard is going to be taking out those creep tumors, aka those outposts.
I really want to see Leenock take some stone and just stonewall the sides. It just feels like it's a constant threat with your paper walls here. Just get some better control, and then he can focus so much more on the center, because look at that! He constantly needs to react. And what army are you really sending against Spearman crossbow? Archers, technically.
Yeah, and they're slow to react. They're not going to be as quick as those knights. And now, once again, we see that he's through, looking to do some damage. He's actually mining gold in the base of Leenock. Just when you thought 900 gold a minute flat.
What happened there? He sent the villagers away, but instantly sent them back. Oh, that's going to be some losses. Leenock!
That's all right. He's got the villager printer.
Okay, but still gold in the hand there. Now armies coming over, so Spearman will be dealt with. Even population right now, even Stevens.
Yeah, very even. Siege works coming out as well for Leenock, so looking to invest in those units in the late game. We see on the other side that Siege works coming through for Beastyqt, so both players looking to invest in that technology. Look at this outpost, just providing constant line of sight.
Beautiful.
He anticipates every single raid.
Absolutely beautiful, and normally you just die to those elite knights completely wrecking you apart, but Beastyqt, with all his map control, all the vision, he constantly has his eyes on the minimap and reacts perfectly.
Yeah, he's doing such a great job of just keeping his enemy out of his base, so really well done. Considering he doesn't have walls, the outposts are doing a great job of giving him that early heads up, and he's not missing a beat.
Yeah, crazy, but, well, one knight might be sneaking in a bit, more units dealing with those towers, one bombard at the front, and well, HRE kind of wants to make a push through the center work right now. Not going to be super easy, though.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They really want to get this push out to the center, but now we see the men-at-arms beginning to build up. Now, I suspect those are elite men-at-arms. You can also see he's dropping down a whole bunch of infrastructure right there. That was a lot of barracks getting dropped down, so he's really looking to prepare himself for the late game.
But where? Where is he building those barracks? Completely far away from the battlefield. Really surprising me.
And now a little bit of a misplay. The Springalds coming forward for a bit of a hug with the Men-at-Arms. Men-at-Arms going to be running back, but you can see how fast those Springalds are. They have got the YAM network bonus. They've got the Siege Works bonus. They are so quick. And now focusing down that Bombard on the back line. It's going to be trying to trade out. Manages to take out one of the outposts. Second Bombard going to be coming in. Men-at-Arms on the back line. Just getting completely destroyed by these crossbows. These crossbows doing so much work. Not enough lance connects in here, it seems.
Finally getting some kills against the Mangles in the back, though, and apparently it is enough army for the HRE. 50 population lead. Leenock, let's go!
He's doing it. He's got 35 idols. He manages to find them pretty quickly, and now he's got overwhelming numbers. How does he stop this many men-at-arms? It looks like Leenock is lifting, ladies and gentlemen. He might be actually fighting. We talked about it. There was the potential that he could come in for a sweep, and that's exactly what he looks like he wants to do. He's currently sitting 4-0. If he loses this game, he's out completely. He is just like... He's in top speed right now.
2 days ago, he made a comeback happen from 3-1, came back to 4-3. You can't count this dude out. He is here to win 5 games in a row and is in a good spot to take at least win number 1.
This is incredible stuff from Leenock here. He's now beginning to take control of the map. Got to be careful, though. He has the ability to put pressure on his opponent. Instead, decides, you know what, we're just going to clean up the map. Looks like he's just going to be sending out his units towards those outposts and try and shut them down. But now these Springalds beginning to move forward. You can see how much damage they've got. A little bit of range on them as well.
Wow.
Bombard's just standing by idly, going to decide to fight. And Villagers, if he's quick, he should be able to repair.
Nope.
Not going to get it off.
Great micro there by Beastyqt. Still, I think Leenock in a 30-minute game was not on stone at all today.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I was actually thinking about that a bit earlier. I'd love for him to come out and drop a keep down right outside Beastyqt's base.
Oh, some emplacements on those towers. They're cheaper for HRE.
That's a really good point. We see him continuing to push forward with his own towers now. Going to be neutralizing this sacred site as well, stopping that gold from coming in for his enemy. And now he's beginning to pull ahead significantly with the villager count, up by 40 villagers. Mangonels on the back line.
Oh, big shots coming in.
Not enough to take out all those men-at-arms, and now you've made them angry. They've got their torches out. You can see them firing off, getting some pretty decent splits in there as well. Leenock doing a great job, but it looks like all 3 of these Mangonels are going to be going down. Beastyqt not going to be too happy with this, and you can see the population difference between these 2 players. I think we might be going through to a game 6 right now, Nilly.
Oh, looks really good. Lots of low HP units there, though. If Beastyqt wanted to micro, and look at that, he goes for the full split. He's trying to make something happen, but still so much more reinforcements here for Leenock. Look at all those towers being being placed down, but don't think they will finish.
Yeah, this is such a good position right now for Leenock. He's looking incredible. Beginning to come through, pushing with those bombards. He's got units out the wazoo. The card going to be going down if it's not careful. Looks like he was careful.
Careful enough, indeed, and still stays with the army. Villagers are dying, more towers are falling here as well. Beastyqt drops below 100 population, while Leenock is flirting with pop limits.
Yeah, take a look at Leenock. He's now collecting stone, so it sounds like he heard our call. That stone should be important. It's going to help him out with a keep if he wants to go for it, or those emplacements like you mentioned, but now beginning to push forward. A bombard going to be coming out. If that goes down, that's a significant blow. 1,000 resources right there for Beastyqt. You can see the little bit of a esport head shake right there. Beastyqt definitely not happy with that loss, and now the Streltsy, I say Streltsy, but those are hand cannoneers come out.
Khan is falling as well. Hand cannon is obviously beautiful against the men-at-arms. More armies pushing in, and Beastyqt not happy with how this one went. He picked Mongols to counter the Holy Roman Empire, but Leenock too strong with his defense.
Very well played by Leenock, and you see him as cool as a cucumber, falling below 90 heart rate for the first time today. Even when he's sleeping, he doesn't drop that low, but he is in full control right now. He is looking very good.
Look at that. And where do we expand if you're the Mongol player now? Right-hand side looks tricky. Left-hand side, what's even there? A bit of a woodline. Yeah, I can see that. Trying to defend in the center there with some Mongols, with some bombards, but all your food economy is at the front here.
Yeah, look at those poor sheep. He's got to be so careful not to lose them. You can see he's got plenty of those sheep in there. Observer, how many sheep have we got here? Vodka's going to do a quick check for us. I'm curious to see. It looks like he's got more sheep than he's got military. 27 sheep, 14 military. It's not going to be enough.
Oh, man. This is like Ireland here. More sheep than people on the field. 80 population, and Leenock is pushing in. More Mongols going down. Beastyqt, quite some fighting spirit, but 80 population, he can't do it. GG, Leenock on the scoreboard. He's
on the scoreboard. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to see a reverse sweep, well, I got good news to you. It looks like it's getting started. Leenock gets back on the scoreboard. He's got one game finally, and Beastyqt, you can see a little bit upset. Not particularly happy with that one. Leenock going to be celebrating a little bit, maybe a fist bump or two out of him, potentially.
Yeah, but he's respectful, so went outside the room, then he was like, Chaka!
Yeah, then you do it.
And then he went back again.
Yeah, respectfully, yes. Very well played, though. Very scary. I mean, he was right on the edge there. There was a point where he was down in the village account, half the amount of villages that his enemy had. Lancers on the wood line, Lancers on the gold mine, Lancers everywhere. Dancing around like they just don't care. And then they did care because they died.
Yeah. And their families cared as well. What a crazy game. And Leenock, I think a lesser player would have been completely just flattered because the Lancer spread was so good. Leenock tried to rewall, but there were towers at the side, always breaking in, and he just had to put out so many fires.
Yeah, there was fires everywhere. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. The top side open for 23 minutes before it got closed. The bottom side repeatedly broken into. The middle, I mean, over-chopped multiple times. The wall, from the very beginning, we saw it go up, and then the chop through was coming. He really struggled there, but he managed to keep his cool. Heart rate eventually lowered to below 90, I think he got down to.
Yeah.
Very cool for Leenock.
In his standards, that's like 25 for another person.
Yeah. Mr., he would be beating like maybe twice a minute at that rate. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but very well played by Leenock. We're looking forward to game number 6. Who would have thunk it? Game number 6 in a grand final and a best of 9.
And also Beastyqt still can pick Mongolian Heights again. We have Lipany twice left in the pool as well.
Yep.
And maybe we can take a quick overview there. That's 3, 5. I'm missing a 4th map. Highview.
Highview, there it is. Got a lot of good options here. Beastie, on the other hand, not a lot of civs to pick from. Look at that. Holy Roman Empire, you wouldn't really want to be playing that on Highview. Chinese, definitely not. Abbasid, I mean, Abbasid's probably your best bet here. Now, Leenock's going to know that. So he says, all right, what's my counter to Abbasid?
Ooh.
Rus, apparently.
Rus.
Counter.
Yeah, and that could be quite some aggressive play. Quick reminder. Game 6, 7, and 8 will use the remaining civilizations. So Chinese, French, and Chinese Holy Roman Empire will be used in game number 7 and 8. Then we jump into game number 9. And there we have one more ban, and then pick another civilization. 3 maps to go. It is the 2 home maps, Mongolian Heights and Lipany. They could have picked those earlier. And Lipany as a neutral map, still there as well. So Mongolian Heights and Lipany twice in game 7, 8, and 9.
Beastyqt going to be taking a small break. Just going to be collecting himself. Obviously, he's up in the set at the moment, 4-1. He's on match point, but At the same time, he knows that he's playing up against a train that has attached its first cart and now begins hurtling down the hill much faster because it's got that extra momentum.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful. He needs to
Tougher to
take a
stop.
step back, a couple of deep breaths perhaps, and really reassess the situation. He's got a pretty decent matchup here. I suspect he's going to be happy with this. Abbasid into Rus.
High view, Rus is pretty crazy good, I would say.
They are. What do we see coming out from our...
Oh, look at that. He's intense.
That is really intense right now. Leenock, you can see the focus just coming through.
He's a bit nervous.
Yeah, definitely going to be sitting here. He's thinking. He's trying to work it out in his head. He's thinking, all right,
What's turning more? The fan in the background or his head?
No, definitely his head. Yeah, no.
Okay.
The fan sitting about 5,900 RPM at the moment.
Yeah.
His head, at least 7,500.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving head. Keep in mind, he's in third gear. But yeah, I think the big thing here is how does Leenock play this? So I don't think Rus is one of his highly played civs. I'd love to go and check right now. Perhaps like maybe Age of Empires 4 World knows this, but how many games has Leenock played? And then how many of those games have been Rus?
Well, we will see that. And meanwhile, I can tell you that Rus obviously great on high view because we have so many more wolves on this map. And with Rus, you kind of want to collect a big bounty, advancing you in your bounty tiers, and then you can get more gold from your hunting cabins, you can have faster food income, and just 25 extra gold per wolf, and obviously we will see a lot of fight for those deer spots as well.
So going through the games played by Leenock, you can see he's played at the moment.
Overall, not N4C.
Correct, no, overall. At the moment. So the sample size looks to be about, I'm just going to do some quick math here, about 700 games. He's played 200 Chinese games.
So last week only.
Last week only, yeah. 200 Chinese games, 175 Abbasid games, 93 English, 67 French, 42 Holy Roman Empire, and this is where it starts to fall off. Mongols on 16, Rus on 12, and Delhi on 8. So Rus are his second least played civilization.
12 times.
In what I would estimate to be 700. I'll do some quick calculations.
I would say that's a pick rate of 1.9%.
Let's find out for you. I'm going to do all the math right here. Once our calculator loads up, it's a little bit slow. We're only running i3s on the observer PCs, it seems. We'll take a look. All right, here you go. 204 plus 175 plus 93 plus 67 plus 42.
Drongo, it's written there. Pick rate 1.9%.
617 games. You're right. It's a pick rate of 1.9%. Impressive
and
stuff.
you are doing math. I can't believe it.
On stream as well. That's bold. Mistype a 1 and you get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like game number 6 about to start. We see Leenock's face up close. That means he was the victor last game. And welcome, welcome, welcome to game number 6 of N4C, the grand finals. It's a best of 9, $100,000 on the line. Beastyqt currently up 4-1. He spawns in the north of the map, playing as the Abbasid dynasty, playing on the color blue.
And on the other side, the player in the red trunks, obviously going for multiple scouts, trying to go for the higher bounty. It will be in the red trunks, a player that doesn't want to get Leenocked out. It will be from South Korea, Leenock.
Leenock looking pretty strong at the start here, already over on his opponent's side of the map. But Beastie locating his first hunt. Has he located the second hunt just yet? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it, but does open up with 2 scouts. So doing the right thing in this matchup.
Oh, and he finds the second spot.
No
really
way.
unfortunate for Beastyqt that early on.
No way he finds it. Does he really?
At the top, at the top.
If he keeps running, he's still... he gets it. He's going to be so happy with that. Denying out these extra hunts from the Rus player, it's going to be massive. We'll take a look at Leenock's perspective right now. I want to take a look and see what he has uncovered. He's got just the first scout out on the map. Still got a couple scouts back at home. They're going to be working towards that. He's up on 105 bounty at the moment. Heading out in that direction. Does actually get found out by his enemy.
The 4th deer spot at the bottom corner of the map. Neither player really has eyes on it yet, and that's maybe something tricky to not find. Protected by 3 wolves as well. So in a world where Beastyqt finds this one before Leenock, could be a crazy advantage.
Yeah, there's 70 bounty from the deer and 75 bounty from the wolves.
Let's take a look. Is either player going into that direction? Leenock for now, mainly scouting in the back there. It fights with the wolf, tries to get higher. Actually runs close to the town center with one of his No, not that close. And now scout number 2.
So keep in mind, Leenock hasn't played a lot of Rus games here, so this is part of the difficult thing. When you're playing in these big best of 9s, you're going to have to exhaust every single civilization in your map pool. And now, once again, we see Beastyqt looking very strong. He's on a civilization he's familiar with. He's practiced this one plenty of times. He knows exactly what he's up to. And look at the wolves that he's got trailing his scout right now. Is that 2, 3? Probably 2.
We still have to say, though, out of those last 700 games, the win rate of his Rus were 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so not to be messed with. We'll see if he keeps it today, whether he looks to get that 100% win rate and keep it. But he does manage to find the wolves down towards the south. Looks like he's got 4 trailing him. Does spot that deer pack. He will be coming back for that shortly. But he's going to be picking up a good bounty. He's on 150 at the moment, killing wolf underneath the town center. That'll take him up to 250. And then hopefully the bounties from the deer take him up to about 320. So not bad. Not a bad start.
Yeah, absolutely. 320 before 4 minutes. It's something you can absolutely be happy with. Can maybe think about killing those wolves, those boars later on. Maybe can break the 500, but that's a big if.
Yeah, definitely a big if. So obviously heading into this game, we're going for an economic wing opening from Beastyqt. Leenock, you're probably going to see the Golden Gate coming out from him. We'll check on Leenock's base just shortly. It looks like it is going to be the Golden Gate. A lot of villagers tapping away at that. It looks like down towards the south of the map. Do we have a contest going on for
10 villagers.
That's a lot of villagers.
Yeah.
He wants to get up yesterday.
Well, feels like it. We'll get quite some gold here, obviously. Now the big question, do we see... No, we won't. We actually saw wheelbarrow for Leenock.
Yeah, so something not so typical for most Rus players. Typically, you'd see a professional scout opening in this situation, but not going to be the case today. So going to be going for that wheelbarrow. Is this a sign of things to come? Do we potentially see him look to purchase some stone? Maybe drop down a second town center? He does like to play a little bit more boomy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you maybe advance so early, right? Because then you get your ticks a bit earlier. You can trade off into that stone a bit easier. The big question, though, what are those villagers up to?
Yeah, they're just hanging out in the town center for the moment. Managed to actually snipe the scout. Pretty decent spot right there. That I guess that explains what they were up to, nearly.
Yeah, and Beastyqt down to 1 single scout now, so we'll struggle a bit with getting some more vision out here. And Beastyqt still not on stone, so no extra town center by him. Now goes for wheelbarrow first.
Yeah, so goes... So, interestingly, yeah, going for the wheelbarrow. Obviously got fresh foodstuffs on the way, so sticking with a 1-base build order for now. Nice and safe. Obviously, he knows that he can get punished pretty badly if he's not paying attention, so you've got to be careful. But Leenock gathering up quite a bit of gold here. You can see he's sitting at 293 at the moment. Going to be dropping down a hunting cabin on the berry, something that we don't typically see this early in the game normally.
That feels so weird to me. Is that a fast castle play? It has to be. He's not building any military. This is, I think, a fast castle man-at-arm build.
This is quite interesting that what we're seeing here. So, yeah, I'm really curious as to how he's playing this, because this doesn't look like your typical build order. Typically, you would see players very heavily on food, even a professional scout's coming out. But here, just going for the berries, really quite interesting.
Huh. And Abbasid. They have answers there with some spearmen in the front, some camel archers behind there, and can obviously defend with a double town center. The moment, though, that Leenock gets the 2nd armor upgrade for his men-at-arms, they are really tanky against town center fire.
Yeah, so I think Leenock here trying to identify a bit of a window. Obviously, Abbasid want to be making more than one town center to try and take advantage of that fresh foodstuffs, but for the moment, Beasty just going to be sticking it out in 1 TCs, working his way up towards that 2nd TC. But there should typically be a nice little window that he can find, which is going to give him room to attack. But the question is whether Beasty's going to close it or not.
The question is, do you even want to build the town center now if you're Beastyqt? I don't think it's high priority. I think you want to make sure that you get crossbows out, that you get to castle edge. Otherwise, those men-at-arms will be really good. Some spearmen coming over, they should do nothing against Leenock.
Look how far up he is already. You can see the resources. We're sitting at 6 minutes 30 right now. He's about to click up. So really impressive stuff coming out from him. It looks like we're going to have that 2nd TC coming down, but look how far forward it is. This is a very confident TC from Beastyqt.
With the gold, with the berries there, I like the spot. If it wasn't against the fast castle.
And the stealth forest. He's going to have no idea what's on the other side of that stealth forest. there could be 17 mangonels hiding out in the back of that stealth forest.
Village is idle now. Abbey of Trinity. This is a reasonable castle age timing. Scout around there, spearmen around. Maybe 1-2 spearmen for Leenock for the defense and then goes for men-at-arms a bit later. Quite an interesting play. Will be a relic advantage for Leenock and some men-at-arm aggression.
How many tickets do we have on that Golden Gate for Leenock? 'Cause
Should be none.
let's take a look. It is
Yeah.
indeed none, yeah. So using that wood to just get up to the next age. We do have a barracks coming out. Now, obviously, this gets spotted out by Beastyqt, so he knows that there might be potential men-at-arm play. Needs to get up to that castle age, needs to try and get those crossbows out.
What is that village up to? Goes on to gold there with the mining camp. Okay, Abbey of Trinity scouted, so Beastyqt has a really good idea of what's coming his way. The big question, how is he reacting to it? And how is Leenock keeping up his food production? Because he's not on those berries.
He might look... There's two different ways he can play this. Number one, try and go fast castle himself. He's going to have a significant loss of tempo because even though the Rus is on 1 TC, he's going to have all of the relics. He'll also get the sacred sites as well, so it means he's going to have that passive gold coming in. So that's something he needs to consider. But also, his other option is to play it in Age 2, something we've seen MarineLorD do in this situation. Just go for a very heavy Camel Archer together with Horsemen. That's another option that he's got. And we actually see he's just going for spears, and he's even getting the Veteran or the Feudal Spear upgrade.
Yeah, indeed, Hardened Spearman there is what we will see. And a bit surprising, but as we said, Hardened Spearman together with Camel Archers quite okay as a defense against potential men-at-arm attacks. It just feels like Leenock's transition will be pretty ugly after those berries are done.
Yeah, we now see the second barracks coming through for him. We'll check the Golden Gate to see how many tickets are on that bad boy. Men-at-arm's also going to be swinging. He's still got 1 ticket in the bank there if he wants to sell it, but he's going to begin applying pressure. It looks like Beasty's going to be going for a Castle Age play.
Okay, 600 food. Goes for some horsemen though. So will delay his castle age timing a bit. And men-at-arms, well, they will trade okay against spearmen and horsemen for sure, even without any upgrades.
Yeah, this is quite interesting here from Beasty because he's going for a little bit of both, not really committing one way or the other. We see the Golden Age now being activated about 9 minutes, so a little bit later than what we'd normally see, but Beasty definitely holding on at this point of time. We see that a Warrior Mod going to be coming out, already one out on the map, going to be looking to capture those relics and bring it back nice and safe. Obviously looking to snag those ones in the middle before he snags the safer ones. But now we see Leenock continuing to add in more military population. He's up to 8 at this point in time.
Okay, Blacksmith now as well, so not the craziest aggression. Beastyqt will be up to Castle Age pretty soon, or at least will click. And Village Advantage at 7, so kind of equal with like 3 relics.
Yeah, not too bad. I think for Leenock as well, the idea is that you'd want to add a second town center before maybe 18 minutes and just try and keep up, but you're going to need to do some damage. Beasty on the way up now to that next stage. Still not a lot of damage being done. We see the men-at-arms beginning to run into the economy of his opponent now, so doing a little bit of the reverse-a-roo. Men-at-arms picking a little bit off more than it can chew, it seems.
Okay, let's take a look. 1 men-at-arm alone, obviously not the craziest thing ever. We still don't have an archer range, something that really surprises me. But maybe Beastyqt realized, damn, you're up so early, only 1 barracks? This won't be the craziest all-in I've ever faced.
Yeah, Leenock here maybe showing a little bit of his inexperience on the Rus. Obviously, the Rus quite a strong civilization in the feudal. They got nerfed significantly in Castle. We now see +1 attack coming through for Leenock and probably overcommitting here a bit.
Yeah, feels like it, right? Under the town center there, quite some questionable moves here. Will take an okayish fight. Horsemen are going back, but Beastyqt, he's fine with stalling this one out.
Yeah, pretty smart moves there from Beasty to try and just fight under the town center. He just wants to stall. He's quite happy. I'd be curious to know whether Leenock has spotted out this second town center yet in the position of it.
Goes for this Hardened Spearman upgrade, and yeah, we obviously know about that second town center. And now the big question, how many relics are we getting? 3 already in the monastery, and what are those villagers up to? Probably the deer at the front.
Yeah, looking to run out to the deer at the front. That berry bush has run out, and this is the consequence of not going for professional scouts now. So typically we see Rus players in this situation go for that professional scouts. It helps out a lot with the food income and means that you've got food to last you normally until about 20-21 minutes. But that's not going to be the case here for Leenock, opting to play it a little bit differently from most players.
Sacred Sites now being controlled, but that's mainly because a relic is next to it. Wants to go for 5 relics. Sacred Site, a bit of a weird position. Now goes for the control at the top. Likely to be 5 relics in the end.
Could we see a Wololo up towards the north? I want to stay up there because if Leenock's paying attention, he might be thinking about doing it. He's heading in towards the villagers. He's about to pass them through. Let's see if he presses the button.
No, just wants to get those relics home. Wants to get to the 5 relic advantage. Still some more control left-hand side. Oh, misplaced.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay right there, but now forcing underneath the town center. You can see the defense coming through. Beasty beginning to pull ahead in the villager count as well. Warrior Monk falling onto that sacred site. Action all over the map right now. And Leenock really fighting for his tournament life.
40 villagers only though. Yeah, he got some relics. Will get up to 4, but it's a tricky spot. Abbasid will increase, and you won't get more than 4 relics with how much army Beastyqt has on the field right now.
Yeah, BC looking very strong. Is beginning to build up that mass. Obviously got the higher villager count. Now look at the resources he's stacking up as well. Expect to see crossbows. Expect to see plenty of knights and also men-at-arms. He's going to be throwing in every single unit he can think of here. He's looking very strong.
Full control by him. Now is charging in for the raids. And remember how beautiful the raids were in his previous games. How many villager picks he found, even against Leenock, who's so quick to react. But the raiding potential so good here by Beastyqt.
Yeah, BC looking very strong right now on this Abbasid. It's impressive to see the way the Abbasid has really come through in this tournament. Entering into this tournament was a bit of a meme when Mr. banned out Abbasid against Leenock. Definitely seemed to rise to be part of the cream of the crop, really.
I think some raid at the bottom, though. Those lances are now coming in. Villagers have to be pulled. Oh, some losses as we predicted. Spearman chasing the cavalry away, though.
Yeah, Beastie pulling further ahead in that villager count. You can see he's up by 17 now, so looking very strong. Managing to capture up 4 of those relics, so Lee not going to be happy with that.
Quite some upgrades on the way for Beastyqt, as you can see at the top. And still, it felt like professional scouts would have made the life so much easier for Leenock. Would have had all those food resources under his town center. He already killed all the deer, had the extra scouts. Just feels so natural for Roos.
And now he's transitioning to farms. He's going to find himself in a bit of a lull period. Whereas Beastie, he's out on the map. He's getting all of these. He's getting his own hunts. He's getting his own berries. He's feeling really good about himself. So, yeah, Leenock definitely showing a little bit of a lack of mastery when it comes to the rules.
What are the next steps here for Leenock? Yeah, he still feels okay. I have 3 relics. 4th one needs to get a monastery, though. Not really sure if he has that. And then it just feels like he plays this one so defensively. Oh, Monk misclicked.
The one thing to note is that when it comes to the late game, the Rus do have the advantage. Even up against the Abbasid, which are quite strong, they can make siege out on the field, as we see right now. But the Rus still have that advantage because of their extra range on the Springlets. But now, Beastie going to be heading towards that hunt. It could have been taken away, could have been denied by Leenock, but it wasn't. So now, yeah, a bit of a tough spot.
Late game, the dream scenario here for Leenock. Feels like Beastyqt has so much army on the field and has so many potential to find more raids. Let's take a look. Spearman here with a good defense, though. Leenock surviving, and yeah, his plan is to get to that late game, and he goes for massive walls.
Yeah, interesting. The first time that we're really starting to see walls out of him, obviously in that HRE game, we saw walls coming out quite well. But this is a really big, optimistic wall coming down now.
And that's somewhat scouted by Beastyqt. Still sees, okay, you have a tower there. Now the push here through the center. Villagers are being pulled.
Yeah, so I think spotting that wall gives a real indication of what Leenock's intentions are for this game. He knows he needs to play in Age 4. He needs to go for Imperial. And now Beastie sees that. He says, oh, you want to play for Age 4? Guess what? We're going all in, baby.
We are going all in, baby. So many low HP villagers. Now we can see the production here. More men-at-arms, more crossbows pushing in. And Leenock not really having any siege on the field.
Yeah, this is so tough for him. He doesn't have any counter sprinklers. He does have a siege workshop, though. Nothing in queue for him at this point in time. So it's going to be difficult for him to defend. He does have a sprinkled now in queue, but it's better that it's coming through now. But now getting isolated off that deer on the front line.
Second town center, Monk at the front takes quite some damage. Might die before dropping off the relic. Oh, that was a risky move. Okay, drop off.
That relic has been out for quite some time. That's going to be like 400 gold's worth of relic.
Feels like it indeed. And, well, maybe some counter-attack spots to be observed here. But it feels like Leenock doesn't really have the breathing room. He doesn't really have the military.
Yeah, Beastyqt looking very strong. And now farm's going to get added. Second town center for Leenock. So he's doing all the right things. The issue is that right now he's got to defend on this front. And the best thing that he could do is drop down a keep of some sort. That would really help him out. But look, 4 battering rams coming down for Beastyqt. He knows that it is go time right now. He saw that wall come down. And that wall says, hey, I want to play the late game. Beastie's like, no, that ain't going to happen. And now we can really see he is trying his best to punish it. So many units coming out from him. Look at the production right now. 3 men-at-arms, 4 crossbows, and phalanx.
And this is so tough for Leenock to hold, especially without siege. I don't know why we are so late there. We have 2 Sprinkles on the field, clearly not enough, and those are 4 exposed relics at the front.
Yeah, this is not looking good right now for Leenock. Keep in mind, this is match point. If Leenock loses this game, it is all over Red Rover. Relic going to be sitting down on the ground. He falls down to 3. Technically, he's got 4 because that one's pretty safe, but yeah, it's not pretty.
Not pretty indeed. Sprinkle now with the defense. Okay, Beastyqt, lots of stone in the bank though. That's going to be an aggressive one. With all the army that he has, he can afford an aggressive one.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Now, probably not going to be putting it... you know what? You could probably get away with putting it right next to that landmark if you wanted to.
Oh boy.
That's exactly what he does. It's not looking good right now. Beastyqt coming in almost with a bit of a BM castle. I mean, he is dropping this right on the front line. A mangonel or 2 would have been very effective against those villagers, but now we see that once again, it looks like the Rus Warrior Monk going to be falling back with that relic.
Uh-oh, this will be a tricky move. Low HP as well. I don't even think he can start a conversion. Sprinkles now coming in, trying to snipe the Mangonels. Conversion pushes villagers away. Solid Sprinkle connections here by Leenock.
Yeah, Leenock doing a pretty good job. Cleans up both of those Mangonels, but the keep does go up. And this is going to mean that it's almost impossible for Leenock to push into this position. Keep in mind, he doesn't actually have a military advantage. It's 73 versus 40. He is up against the edge of the rope right now. Is there anything he can possibly do to come back into this game, Nearly?
I don't really see the options here. Beastyqt is just looking so strong, tries to pump out another trap, but instantly gets denied. Units are already there, and his economy is in shambles.
Beastie looking very calm, cool, and collected. He's sitting on 85 heart rate right now. You can see the men-at-arms just chasing down these expensive Sprinkles. The Trebuchet going to begin unpacking and heading towards I guess the keep is probably the best place to unload, but you can see just how much damage is coming out. Sprinkles go down. He's trying his best to heal those up, but both of them go down. There's one that's remaining. Fighting down on the farms here. Nearly, it's not looking pretty right now. Leenock definitely up against the ropes.
Look at that. The smile is already coming in for Beastyqt. He knows what's up. He will put the second keep in, and he just sees, oh god, I'm making all the right moves to finish this one off, to maybe make a 5-1 happen.
Beastie is definitely looking incredibly strong, but Leenock not the kind of guy to tap out at this point in time. You can see his heart rate starting to move up a little bit higher for Leenock. He's going to be trying to put down a keep of his own. At the same time, there's not enough villagers here, and they're getting completely wrecked by the army that's down there. Beastie now pushing down towards the center. The second keep goes up. More battering rams over on the left-hand side, and those villagers get pulled trying to do damage, but at the same time, the boiling oil from that keep is doing so much work. Dylan.
So much work indeed, and those villagers have to disengage. Ram even safe. More rams being built in the back, and so much blue now rolling into red space, close to 100 population advantage.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Leenock. I think this might be a good game. I suspect he's probably going to try and stay in this fight for a little bit longer. He is, I mean, he's known as the Korean steamroller, but it definitely seems like he is out of steam right now as the head goes on the hand. A classic esports, tongue out the cheek, and oh, I think he's typing in GG. It might be over, ladies and gentlemen. Good game gets called. Beastyqt is your victor. $100,000 N4C winner, 5-1. Congratulations.
What an incredible performance by our Serbian. What a run through it. He had such a tough group stage, went through 3-2, second in the group, and yesterday with a big W, 4-3 game against VortiX, went to distance, crazy set, and today looked unbeatable, 5-1 in the finals.
Absolute insane play today. Leenock, I don't know what was up with him today. Definitely didn't seem like he was in the same gear that he was up against MarineLorD, but by the same token, all credit going over to Beastyqt. Outdrafted him completely, and we now hear the players clapping for Beastyqt as he begins coming out. Beastie, congratulations.
Thank you.
Big
smile.
That's a big smile right there. I reckon it's time we head over to that casting
Absolutely.
couch.
Let's set it over. Beastyqt, your champion, and he is happy with his trophy already next to him.
Trophy, I'm assuming.
I'm doing that trophy apparently. Okay. Well, as you all know, in Berlin we have all those bears sitting around, and we have a beautiful trophy here with the N4C logo. I can show it a bit closer. Beastyqt, your champion, N4C champion here. Congratulations, Beastyqt. What a crazy good set.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That was a hard set. You know, Leenock is a very hard opponent, so I'm very glad the games went my way.
I want to ask you about the draft. It seemed like you had his number every single match, every single map. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, so I spent about 2 hours this morning looking through the games he's played, kind of like cross-referencing what he played on which map. when he lost, which civ he picked. So I knew that if he loses, which civ he's more likely to pick. So the draft went pretty much my way. I wasn't really surprised. The only civ I didn't know was Delhi was gonna go. Even HRE, that's the matchup I wanted, but it didn't work out in the end. I tried to kill HRE player. Mistake, never do that, because once the printer goes up, you can't win that. So, maybe I overcommitted a little bit. Maybe I should have, stopped with the Lancers. But overall, the draft went pretty well for me, and I'm super happy about it.
Indeed, it did. Oh man, and that HRE game just had us on our toes. You played Mongols there to counter the HRE and prevented the walls over and over again. Found so many villager kills. What was lacking in the end?
I think I kept trading Lancers for workers, and in most matchups that would work, but because of the passive gold, that doesn't really work. Because there was probably a point where he put all these villagers on just food, and he got the gold, he kept making units. I didn't really kill any units, so even though I was killing villagers, I was kind of killing my own army at the same time. So, I think if I maybe played a more passive approach from the initial push, it would have been good. And he also defended the initial tower rush really well, because he walled off and I had to go all the way around, which it delayed it quite a bit. So, I thought he defended that game pretty well and kind of transitioned into Imperial really well.
On Alta, you picked English against this Delhi. Delhi considered to be the best civ. How did you pull off that victory then?
Well, like I said, I didn't know where Delhi was going to go. I expected Abbasid or China on that map. So I felt like maybe English is one of my worst civs. So I wouldn't mind playing it against Abbasid, kind of playing the long game. And when he played Delhi, I was super happy about it because I consider my English the worst out of my civs. So when I saw that he picked Delhi, I was like, oh, great. I'll lose to Delhi with my English. Going into 8 games, that's favorable for me. And, the initial start, I was like, oh, I'm, doing some work, walling off sacred sites. But then Delhi did the Delhi thing.
We have some statistics here as well. And we see game length pretty much close all times. And APM pretty close as well. As we can see, Ruse for Beastyqt a bit lower on the APM side. The rest pretty close. And we always thought, okay, Leenock the beast when it comes to APM. It feels like, even on Highview, APM a bit higher there with the Abbasid for Beastyqt.
Yeah, managed to, 3 games have higher APM. I mean, it also depends on the style, right? Like, if you're more defensive, you're going to have less APM. If you're being super aggressive, you're going to have a lot more APM, which I think kind of you can see in the English game where I was, like, trying to attack everywhere, a higher APM. But, yeah, that game kind of started okay. Then it went really bad. And I was like, okay, I'll just delay the game. Maybe try to somehow reach the late game. Then I saw 2 keep in front of my base, and I was like, all right, I'll make 1 trebuchet. I chopped wood for like a minute for it because I had no economy, and I figured he wouldn't expect Lancers or Knights. I think Knights are not that great on that map because it's such a narrow map. So I knew that he has no vision on the left side, so I was like, okay, let's try do a lot of eco damage and maybe come back that way, and it worked out.
Coming into today, there was an expectation that MarineLorD would be sitting here and you'd be facing up against him, but instead it was Leenock. How confident were you going into these sets?
5-1 overlay guy.
Versus Leenock or MarineLorD?
Against Leenock.
Against Leenock, I was very confident. Most of my practice games, when I met him, went well. I played him in the group stage. It went 3-1 my way. I think he is a really good player. Mechanically, he's probably one of the best, if not the best. The thing that kind of lacks for him is the civs. He has some weaker civs, and those are kind of very easy to counter in the draft. And I think we've seen it throughout the tournament where even when he got out drafted, sometimes he would beat people.
Yeah.
But people kind of knew what he was going to play on which map, or at least assume. And for example, if you see one of his civs on one map, you know that on the second map he's going to play the other civ that he has. So, just proper pre-planning, I think, is probably the right way to play against Leenock. But mechanically, is very good and very fast as well.
Yeah, both Nili and I were going through the games that Leenock had played. I think within the last month or so, he's played about 600 games. Only 8 of them Delhi games, only 12 of them Rus games. Does that surprise you at all?
No, not really. I mean, I knew that he didn't play Delhi, but Delhi is still, a very scary civ. Rus, I knew that he doesn't play a lot, and English, he kind of plays it on specific maps. So when the draft started, the first map on when I saw Mongolian Rus versus English, I knew that he will either go like super camp, go Imperial, or he will go all in. So when I scouted that he's, getting gold and stuff, I felt much more, comfortable playing that game because, late game, that's my thing, right?
You're kind of a beast.
Yeah, so that's my thing. So I just, every time the game slowed down and I saw that he wants to go late in the game, I felt very, very confident and comfortable. But yeah, like that's the thing. If you play a best of 9 and you have to play 8 civs and, 1, 2 of your civs are not quite there, it gives a big advantage to the opponent.
Crazy, crazy stuff. Congratulations, Beastyqt, the champion of N4C.
Seed number 7?
Seed number 7 against seed number 8 in the finals.
There you go. There you go.
Indeed.
Very well played. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
What are your plans for Golden League?
I mean, same thing as here. I'll try to win it.
Okay.
Solid plan.
I don't really... in StarCraft 2, I used to have a lot of like stage fright, and I was very worried from game to game, didn't play my best. But in Age of Empires 4, I feel like that's gone, and I just played my game, and I'll try to do the same for Golden League. I'll keep practicing, and hopefully I'll do well.
Is that due to age or due to the game?
I'm not actually sure, but
okay,
it's just gone. I know that, so...
I spoke to Mr. earlier, and he mentioned if he won, he was going to buy tractor tires with his prize money. What are you planning to do with yours?
I'll buy a tractor tire from this.
It might be 30K.
It's expensive.
I'll probably be looking into just investing into like an apartment or maybe house or something like that. I am getting old, so I gotta kind of get something sorted in regards to that. So sorry guys, no fun answer for that one.
All right. Well, that's all the questions from me, Nili. Any more from you?
Not really, no.
Well, congratulations once again, Beastyqt. And thank you guys for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure casting. I hope you've had fun, Nili, because I know I have.
I had them as well. Thank you so much, Drongo. Thank you so much, Beastyqt. And now this is basically the phase where I go into